Okay, we'll just do that for right now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Live from the Governor's Green Room here at Governor's Comedy Club. It's me, Don Sill, here with the one and only Sallie O'Neill. Sallie, what's up? We have somebody's missing today.
I know. Well, not missing. We kind of know where he is.
He's not in studio.
I have his car keys.
Oh, there you go. So
yeah.
He's not far. No, Tony Walker is emceeing tonight on the patio.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, so I'm very happy for Tony. I'm a little nervous for him. You know, I got a little bit of butterfly action going on for him, but I know he's going to kick ass. I know he's going to do great. I'm not scared. I'm just like excited, like anticipation. I wish I could be out there and supporting him, but he's going to do great. And I also think it's good for him to do it without any support out there. Sometimes you got to push him out the nest. And then he'll fly.
Do? Are you like with the 1,000 kids you've had? Do you is that how you teach them how to swim? You just like, you know what? I'm just gonna chuck you right in the pool.
Sometimes it's time. When I working in the industry for a long time in the sports side of things, when we would get interns or we would get new employees that maybe were a little green, maybe didn't know everything, we threw them right in the fire, man. We're like, you're on the camera today. You have to follow the puck. And then we'd have guys, but the puck is so little. Do it. You have to.
And it hurts when you get hit with it.
Yeah. So if you're following the puck, you're on the sticks, and you got to follow the game action. There's a lot of pressure on you, and we would throw people in the fire on that. And you know what? 9 out of 10 times, except for this dude Jan Gooley, he dropped the ball. But 9.
He was nothing like Tony Walker.
Yeah. But most of the time when people get thrown into the fire and it's fight or flight, they'll fight their way through it and they're going to succeed. And I know Tony is going to kick some ass and he's going to do great. And he's setting up the show for the one and only Jackie Fabulous.
Yes, I hope she comes in here. Well, we should probably, let me just explain. So Tony took a comedy class here last year.
That's right.
At Governor's. And it was like a 2-month class, and then and they say after the 2 months of
here he is now. We're just talking right
know
about.
What?
I don't see. There's a little bit of a crowd out there, but there's nobody out. There's nobody backstage.
Come on in here, Tony. We're just talking about you.
Yeah, we were just talking about you. You have
so
to wear.
Is there an audience out there?
I'll be quick. I'm on stage tonight.
Maybe there's no audience out there because you're hosting and you're not there. Should you be there?
Is there?
I'm getting scolded.
So when you went out there, what happened?
There's some people out there. It's like maybe about half full.
Okay.
But there's nobody backstage. There's no Jackie Fabulous. So I'm wondering if I'm looking for cameras. Gotcha.
Do you think maybe they canceled it, but they didn't tell you?
Yes. They canceled it because of me.
Well, if there's an audience there, I don't know if they would at least know if it was canceled. But you know what you should do? Maybe the bar area. Remember last time?
I've been circling the whole place,
really?
Waiting for some kind of instruction or
maybe it
direction.
Doesn't start till 7:30.
Yeah, it's 7:30 showtime.
All right.
But they told me to be here at 7. I've been here since 6:30.
Yeah.
And I've just been walking around.
Do you have Jackie Fabulous's phone number?
I've never even met the woman.
They should have gave you her number if you're in charge.
Is that right? Really?
I would think so.
You would do some pre-gaming like that? You would actually talk to each other on the phone?
Yeah, I would call her up and be like, "Yo, Jackie, I'm going to be there at 7.
I'm in charge of you.
When are you showing up?
I'm in charge of you. That'll go over real well to an African-American woman. Yeah, that'll go real well.
You ain't in charge of shit, motherfucker. You in charge of my ass.
So you just choked on your spit because Don's so funny.
Oh, absolutely. I'm much better in here than I am out there.
That's always the best thing. When you can make someone, water come out their nose because they're laughing so hard.
If you could do that, that's
if you could do that.
I'll be checking in because it's the nerves are kicking in, so I just got to keep walking around until I find people.
Ange isn't even here to
Ange told me to be here at 7.
But is she here to calm you down?
No, I haven't seen anybody. I've been walking around looking for people, looking for direction, looking for something. Somebody help me.
You're going to do great, man. I believe
bro.
in you.
And
best of luck, and we'll see you.
I'll keep you updated as best I can.
All right, cool.
He's so cute.
It's like his first day of school.
Yeah. I know. We're sending him out.
Out to the world.
Don't worry. We already paid off the bus driver to be nice to you. Let him sit in the front on the yellow bus.
So there he goes. Tony Walker is going off now to perform the MC.
Yeah, because he's
duties.
performing too.
Yeah, he's going to perform and then do the MC stuff. And that's a tricky job. MCs are important. People don't realize how important they are. They keep the flow going, keep the fun going, keep the energy going. So if there's a lull,
yeah,
it's his
the
job to get in
timing.
there,
Yeah, I wonder. But you know what? He's good at that. So I'm hoping. I think the first few times it's going to be like a little rough. But but not as rough as it probably is for other people because he's used to stuff like this.
And the audience, you got to remember, the audience wants him to be funny too. The audience does not want him to fail either. Like when you go to a show, the majority of the audience that goes to the show are there to laugh. They want to have a good time. They're already getting a little drink on. So, so he's got that going for him.
Right.
And so they're going to be on his side right away. And I think if he just has the confidence and just kills it like he does day in and day out here on the show on Knock 'Em Dead, he'll be fine. He just has to you just got to get it out of your mental,
Yeah.
And then just get up there and just do his act. Introduce he doesn't even, I don't even know if he knows who's on the bill yet.
Right. That's just it. Like, I don't know. That would be rough for me. Like, I would want to know, like, every single person that was going to be up there. I'd want to have them there already, introduce myself, find out how many minutes they can do. But it sounds like no one's there. Like, he actually thinks he's being punked.
Well, he knows that, at least he knows there's an audience. But he doesn't, I don't think he's feeling secure because the performers aren't there yet. And it is a little early. It's a 7:30 show. Some performers, if you're the headliner, you might come in a little bit closer to 7:30 just because she probably doesn't have to go up until 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the headliner, so you figure there'll be the other acts will go on before
I
her.
didn't even think about that. I would think that I would be here, like, really early because I'd be nervous. But maybe they're just not nervous.
Yeah, and they might not be nervous, and then, but also tonight, there's all 3 stages are active. We got the patio with Fabulous. Jackie Fabulous is performing, and it's not too late to come out and see her. It's only 7:09. If you live close by, you can get here, catch the show, catch Tony. Also in the little room, hosted by our good friend Steve Rocco Perillo, he is doing an open mic.
Okay.
So if you want to be in an open mic, or if you want to, I don't know if it's an audience for that or how that works, if it's just a workshop, but that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Is he teaching? Does he? Because I think he teaches stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually.
And it's not
teaches,
a bar or a
it's just more
restaurant
like
in there,
a workshop.
right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's activated.
Well, if you want to learn about death, because death happens to everyone,
or just practice your craft and just get up there and just and if you want to emulate a pirate, you could do that. But also, and then the main stage, we got Anthony Rodia is on the main stage tonight. I think he's doing both shows, right?
yeah, he's just slutting around this weekend. He's got I think he was here Friday for 2 shows, Saturday for 2 shows, Sunday for 2 shows.
Govs Radio's own Governor's Radio, Anthony Rodia is here, and Goomba Johnny is also on the bill. So we got Goomba and Anthony Rodia, fun stuff. So catch that. That's the main stage. If you play your cards right, you can come in early, go to the patio, then catch the second show, Anthony Rodia and Goomba Johnny. You could see both. You can hit both stages in the night. And
you had Anthony Rodia on your game show he was a judge one time.
Yeah, he was a judge with Pelagianos. Was one of the contestants. It was Anthony Rodia and Jeffrey Gurian.
Oh, okay.
That was a good show, man. That was 2 really solid judges, and it was Pelagianos versus what's her name with the polio.
She looks just like me.
Yeah. What's her name again? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, me too.
But she's an awesome
if
comedian.
Tony was here, he'd remember. But he's being punked on the patio right now.
Hopefully, he's getting some quality stage time, and he's going to kill. I have a lot of faith in him. So Yep, Tony. We got Frank Nostrom is watching. That's Frankie Nine Fingers.
Are you on the on Facebook?
This is the Facebook
Yeah,
one.
because Tony was just saying we're on Facebook too. Because
Yeah.
our whole computer thing was just screwed up today, so everything had to start from scratch. So
My friend,
so it's good. I think it's good.
I used to work with this guy. Frankie Nine Fingers was his nickname.
Really?
He only has
Did
9
he
fingers.
start out with that name, or he had to lose it because he had that name?
We gave him the name, and then we had to take away a finger.
Yeah, well, you got to.
We're like, it's not Frankie 10 Fingers.
Come on, Frankie.
Let me see.
Stop being so
He was
selfish,
playing
Frankie.
that game with the knife
Oh, yeah.
and lost one. And it was very painful. Now, that was in my wax factory days. Stroll and pitch waxes. That was a fun job.
What?
One of my first jobs I had in the 90s, in the early 90s, was at this wax factory. It was me and Frankie Nine Fingers and a whole bunch of us. And we were all... It was like the island of misfit kids, man. We were all these young...
That's great.
Messed up kids where we would literally have, fist fights every day. Every day.
Like at work.
At work. Yeah, there was no HR. Our foreman... His name was Joe. If he got mad at you, he would literally throw a sledgehammer in your direction.
Really?
He'd be like, "You mother!" And you'd be, "Whoa, Joe, what are you doing?" And
Back in the days when you used to get hit at work, you don't get hit at work anymore.
he shot my friend in the face with a BB gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Dana,
no HR.
thank you, Joan.
Yes, Dana was on.
Danielle's mommy.
That. Yes.
She knows everything. All right, James is here, so I think Tony's going to feel a little bit better. Yeah, Dana McAllister?
Yeah, Dana McAllister. She's a great, funny young lady, and it was her versus Andy Plagianos on the show, and that was great.
Like today, if you're at work and you get hit by your boss,
Oh,
now it's frowned upon. Back in the day when me and Don were starting out, we got hit all the time.
This guy, I'm telling you, he had a BB gun. So we were outside smoking, and this guy's like, you see, he's looking at us, and he's pumping the gun. And I see him, and I'm like, oh, shit. And then I also take a dead aim. And I'm like, what the hell?
Did you actually get hit?
He
Because
shot
it
my friend.
hurts.
He shot my friend in the face. My friend was smoking. There was a bang. He's like, ah. And it goes, and he had to pop it like a pimple to get the BB
It really
out.
hurts bad.
Yeah, he had a BB stuck in his face and close to his eye. This guy was nuts. This guy fought me once. Joe, he grabbed me by my jacket, and I pulled away, and he cut his hands open. And he looked, and he saw the bleeding because of his zipper of my jacket. And he looked, and he went... And then I was like, oh, shit. What do I do? Should I run?
Right.
But instead, we ended up having a fight. And that was my boss. I was you know what I mean? There was no HR. I think about it now, and I'm like,
so crazy.
Yeah.
When you think about back in the day, if you tell your kids now what we went through,
oh, forget. They don't believe it.
Totally, they don't even believe it. One time I was waitering, and I was I worked at this nice restaurant, and you work during the day forever, making nothing.
Right.
And so I got this one shift on a Saturday night, and I couldn't even believe it. It's the difference between $30 and $120 just because you show up a few hours later.
Right.
Right?
Exactly,
it's the same meal.
It's the people tip differently. You got a different crowd.
Completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm giving the best service that I know how because I'm so freaking nervous. I'm not going to be able to work there the next Saturday. So everything's perfect. So I go to fill their coffee cups at the end of dinner for maybe probably the third time, just because I want it to be perfect. Not thinking like a business owner that they want that table to turn and get the fuck out of there.
Right. They want you out as soon as possible.
Right. And so I go to grab the coffee cup or the coffee pot to walk over there, and the owner smacked me in the back of the head.
Wow. Damn.
And it's now you say this to your kids now, well, yeah, I remember the time I got hit at work. And he was this German owner, so it was he wasn't even kidding around.
No, he was serious.
If he had a BB gun, he would have shot me.
He's like, there's a line outside, 15-minute wait. You giving him coffee?
Pfeffernucken from Folkwagen. No, that's a car thing. But so it's different. Things are different these days.
It's a crazy time, and things are definitely different. You can't hit anybody anymore, unfortunately, at work. Because there's times that I wish you still could, but you can't. You can't fight even your coworkers anymore. You get sued, you go to jail, you get canceled, you lose everything. It's just not worth it. So, what are you going to do? But those days with Frankie Nine Fingers, I'll never forget. Frankie Nine Fingers was a hell of a guy. And he still is a hell of a guy. I just haven't spoken to him in like 30 years. But we're friends on Facebook, and he's a good dude, and I hope he's still watching.
How did he lose his finger? Or are you just messing around with me?
That was really his name. I don't know how he lost his finger for real, but when we first met him, because when you're new so this is again old school. This is like the early '90s.
Yeah.
And this place was a wax factory, and we were all these young misfit kids. We were like none of us at the time went to college or anything like that. And then the other people that were coming in were ex-convicts that were like in halfway houses and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And drug addicts recovering.
So you really could have gotten hurt.
Yeah, but that's why you had to be the meanest and the toughest guy.
Okay.
Right? So when I unfortunately or fortunately built up this reputation as one of those like a tough guy at the time.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I was mean as F, man. I was mean AF, bro. No, so they would come in and everybody would give me money when there's a new guy. And they're saying, yo, we're putting a hit out on the new guy. And I'm like, that guy, he's a little redhead? And like, yeah. So they all give you money or whatever. And then you go over there and you're supposed to start with them. But me and Frankie, I liked him right from the start. But other guys, I went in there and I would give them a massive wedgie and rip off their...
yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, and rip off the band.
Yeah.
And tie it around my head and go like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
For
crazy.
real?
It was crazy times.
Man.
Perla just walked by.
Perla,
I want to get him in.
Get in here.
Well, let's see. We're going to have to wave him in.
Who else? Who's hosting the main stage?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know if Rodia comes equipped with his own crew or not.
Oh. Oh, is it just him and Johnny? Like no one else is?
I don't know. I didn't see anybody else in the green room.
You know
earlier.
what? I know that he does do that because I know that when he was working with another person, she went out there and she hosted, and then Gumajati came out, and then Anthony came out. So I bet you that's how it's running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that scares me because we're not going to get any help tonight.
Yeah, we might not. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get anybody coming in here. We got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Jeff Bosey said he's going to stop by.
Anyone want to stop by? Jeff Bosey?
I don't know if he's stopping by.
Allie, my favorite waitress, walked by.
Or if he's stopping by to come in here. Either way, Bosey, I hope all is well. I saw you flashing your amazing tits again out on the boat. Such a whore.
Yeah, that was something.
He's such a whore. They were pinching his nipples. And, he's such a loose man.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture? You know.
Yeah, I saw the picture. You know what? Joan posted it, and Facebook blocked it because it showed his little pink bunny nipple. And so she had to put a hamburger in front of it.
That's why I saw the hamburger.
Yeah, because they blocked it.
They should have put 2 little hamburgers, one on each nipple.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Because they are delicious, is what
so
I'm told.
your granddaughter's birthday? Whose birthday? Whose birthday was that?
Yes,
Emma.
Yes, my granddaughter Emma. It was her first birthday.
She's
today.
a year old.
1 year old already.
Man.
She's a full-on COVID lifestyle so far. Her whole life has been in the COVID era.
It's kind of like The Walking Dead, like the young 5-year-olds didn't even know what it was like to have a cell phone.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
she's going to grow up.
They all grew up with like knives in their like pocket.
And they know how to kick ass. Yeah.
So here's Emma. She's going to know how to wash her hands from day one.
She's going to know to keep clean, keep the hands clean, I'm hoping we get away from the masks. But
I finally got my second shot.
Oh, you did, huh? How you feeling? When did you get it? This week?
Yeah, I got like the first one a few weeks ago, and it was really kind of funny because I go in there to get the first shot. Like I have the appointment for a little while, and I go to sit down, and they're like, "All right, well, you're gonna come back here in 2 weeks." And so I'm looking at the date, and like it, kind of like hits you like, "Oh, I know that date." And I was like, "Oh, but that's Mother's Day." Like, right. I don't want to be, like, screwed up for Mother's Day. So I go, well, can I, like, come the next day or something? And she goes, no. So I go, all right. I said, you know what? Let's just stop this right here, and I'll just make a new appointment for both because I don't want to mess you guys up, but I'm not having fevers or dying on Mother's Day, So so she's like, all right, well, let me talk to them, whoever they are. So this like nurse comes up. She goes, yes, totally fine. Come the next week.
Oh, good.
So I did, and it worked out fine.
Did you get any side effects?
Yeah, for like, well, when you when you get either shot, I got the Pfizer, so I can't speak for any other shot. But when you get either of the shots, it feels like your sibling punched you so hard in the arm when you were 8 years old.
Right, yeah, so
like
you get
it's like that, and it feels like that for like a day. And then so the second shot, I had like a little fever, but I didn't feel sick. Like I was hot, but with no other symptoms.
Were you able to work through it? You were able to
absolutely
have a normal day?
I felt like I was just in a sauna for a little while, so it was fine. No big deal.
How many people out there watching right now are vaccinated, or you plan on being vaccinated, or you're anti-vaccination? I'm just curious, taking a little random poll with the 5 or 6 people watching right now. Just let us know. Greg DiFilippo, what about you? Jeff Bosey, how about you? Kevin Epstein, you guys all vaccinated? Just want to know while we're sitting here, because I'm still on the fence. I got to be honest, Sally. I'm still on the fence. I don't know. I'm more worried about the cure than I am the disease. And I just got my blood work done, and I got my cardio and all that stuff, and
you're good?
The results, it says I have the antibodies. So I already have the antibodies.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm waiting for herd immunity to set in. I want this thing to go away. I don't know how much of this, I don't know what's real anymore, who to trust anymore. Everything's wishy-washy. I don't know whether these people right or that or those people right.
I feel exactly the same way.
I'm like
I really
lost
do.
in the middle.
You know why I ended up getting it? Like, I know I want to get, because I want to be able to do things. Like, and I know I have to get my kid Sam done because he's going to want to go to college. And just for example, like last week I was reading that Radio City Music Hall, it's opening back up. The only people that are going to be allowed to go in there are people with cards that said that they have
That's
it.
how they're going to force us slowly to all.
And
you're going to have the card.
It pisses me off.
It does. It pisses me off too.
It's like say you can wear a mask, but don't say you can't come in because you didn't get a shot, because not everyone can get the shot. So
Right.
I feel really annoyed about this, and I feel like I wonder like how many other places are going to be doing that.
Just like driver's licenses and like and passports, you could probably get a fake one, and that's what I plan to do. Will Sharon says he's not anti-vaccine, but he's not getting the shot either. I'm kind of with you on that, Will.
So what do you do when you want to go to a place, though?
You get a fake one. Well, Bo says he hasn't gotten it either, and I'm like that song, Brother Staying Alive.
Have you seen what they look like?
The shots?
No.
Oh, the cards? Yeah, I've seen the cards.
Yeah.
My like a lot of my family members have all gotten it. I'm just holding out. Again, I'm not anti-vaccine. I think, hey, if you want to get vaccinated, that's fine and dandy. I'm just me personally don't think I need it, and I don't know if that's the right thing or the wrong thing to say anymore.
Right.
What's politically correct? But I'm like, look, I have the antibodies. Mm-hmm. I don't need this shot right now, and I'm waiting for herd immunity to jump in, and I think once herd immunity kind of takes its toll, we'll phase the virus away, like we've done with all these viruses in the past. And like I said on my show in the past, I feel like Fauci loves it. Every time he talks about it mutating, he has a little smile. He's like this. He's like,
Right.
It's mutating. You might have to keep those masks on a little longer. And then his pictures of him, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade. If you agree with me.
Go ahead. I don't care.
There's pictures of Fauci. Google them right now. Fauci, Obama, Wuhan lab. They were in that laboratory in 2019 or 2018. They were in that lab where they leaked from. Now, I don't know if you're a conspiracy nut, if you wear a tinfoil hat, Sally, but there might be something about that. That the people that were in that friggin' Wuhan laboratory are now the same people controlling us.
That's true.
There's another breakout of it, guys. You're going to have to stay back in your houses.
I'm all over the place with it. And like Joan brought up Tony. Like, did we tell you about Tony?
What happened with Tony?
Well, first of all, for me, I had it back in January of last year. I have antibodies, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to freaking get it. Whatever. I'm going to take one of the shorts for the crowd. Whatever. So, but Tony, he's on this Facebook amputee page, and it's really actually helpful. Like, what socket do you use? What have you seen the new computer on the knee of the Osher?
Right.
There was it's a great site, and it's great people. There's it's not like a nutball community because
Right.
everyone on the face of the earth has amputation things going on, and people have like phantom pains, skin issues. There's a lot that can happen when you are amputated.
Right. Yeah.
So
those nerve endings things.
So I type in one day, because one of the things with Tony is he gets he can come in. He's a doctor, I think. I can't remember his name.
Come on in, Harry.
Oh, you know him. That's right. Good. We'll tell you a story later.
How's it going?
Hey, Harry, come on in if you
Come
want.
on, sit down, my friend.
Right over there
How are you? You
by Don.
Where should I sit?
Sit right next to Don.
Okay.
Dr. Harry Freeman is in the house. How you been, my friend?
Thanks
good.
for
How
coming
are you?
in.
We'll give a pound there. Boom.
Yeah. Hello.
Good,
How are
good.
you?
I'm all right.
How
Yeah?
you doing? We were just talking about, and you're a doctor.
Yeah.
We're talking about the vaccine.
Okay.
What's your
How clean can I be?
hypothesis?
Or how not clean?
You don't need to be clean
Well,
at all.
okay.
We have a HEPA
So,
filter.
There's people that get the Pfizer, and it seems a little less side effects. I actually had the Madonna from the ejaculate collection, and that was fine. So,
The ejaculate collection?
yeah.
How's that work?
Madonna comes over, and that's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Early Madonna, not the newer one. Right?
Yeah, the early Madonna was
No,
hot.
No. Well, now you could have the daughter.
What was her name again? Jen?
Lourdes.
Yes, Lourdes.
Lourdes, yeah.
Yes, very good. So are you all fully vaccinated yourself?
I am vaccinated, and my nurse injected me, and then I injected her back.
There you go. So you don't need to wear the mask, right? Or you just you feel
listen,
comfortable
I'm a
with it?
senior, so I'm careful.
Yeah, you want
And
because
I feel like the CDC went a little fast in going, okay, we're all open now, because it went from almost nothing to now we're all open, and not everybody's gotten the shots. So I'm
right.
and more people
Right.
need to be tested. I have my nurses test me every day.
The
Every
ejaculate
day?
part.
No. Every day I do. I like to be, because I'm dealing with patients and I'm dealing with the public, and I don't want to pass it on.
Right.
So the thing is that they go right into the brain with,
Yeah, I
with the
watched my
Q-tip.
son have that done. It was
Right.
crazy.
It's terrible.
It
So
tickles.
and I said to her, you said it was just going to be the tip. And they said, well, you said the same thing, and now we're all pregnant. So that's not really fair.
That's the Moderna ejaculate right
Yeah.
there in action, folks.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like I said, I'm waiting for herd immunity to come in, and we could all just get past this. And I mean, I'm hoping by this time, at least by next year, we are not even talking about it.
Have you both had shots?
Sallie has.
Yeah, I just got
am,
the second one.
I just had my blood work done, and I have all the antibodies.
How
But
do you have the antibodies? You had it?
I had it about 2 or 3 months ago, or maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and it's still the antibodies. Still, I guess literally had my blood last
Okay,
week.
but you can theoretically get it again. I think if you don't get the come here. I've got some in my trunk. I'll give it to you after the show.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I'll
Yeah.
give you both shots at once.
Excellent. Good. Good. I want the ejaculate one though. Is that possible?
No. That's only for special.
Oh, that's only for
That's only for celebrities. if you were doing the governor's radio show, that's not quite. You gotta be on terrestrial radio
I got you.
or Sirius, but they don't pay you back. They don't pay after you do it.
Yeah. True indeed. Yeah. So now you're back in action. You're performing tonight.
I'm doing a spot in the little show in the little room.
Oh, good. Can we ask you about that? Because that was the one room
Yeah.
that we weren't sure about. Are they teaching anything? Or are they just doing an
It's
open mic? What are they
basically,
doing?
It's sort of an open mic where you have to buy things.
Right. 2 drink minimum open
Yeah.
mic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to have like a couple of kidneys that I actually donated to the club. So they're gonna
A liver
grow those up
lobe.
for me. I donated them.
Well,
If you have a kidney you want to donate, let me know because we are short at the hospital.
I'm down to 1.
We will give you like a free trip to Disney World for every organ.
That's what they're doing now. All the incentives with the vaccine. I'm waiting for
That's right.
the incentives to build up to something even better. I'm holding out when it's like, if you
Yeah.
get your vaccine, we'll give you a new car.
Oh, that would be
Okay.
great.
Yeah. Then I'll be like, all right, go ahead, do it.
That'd be nice.
But now getting back in action. Is this your first time performing tonight in
No,
front
I've
of
been doing a few open mics, and then I did a spot at Broadway Comedy Club last night.
Very cool. With what's her face hosting? Who's hosting it?
Well,
Massetti?
Charlie,
Janice?
Charlie, I don't know how to pronounce his back. How do you pronounce his last name? It's like Basquet.
Basque.
Producer of the show, and some guy named Max was hosting. Who
Oh,
I've never
okay.
met before.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was actually fun.
Yeah, awesome.
And then I have a couple shows. I have a winery tomorrow night, and then I have a brewery on Monday, and on Tuesday I have a meth lab. So I'm looking
Excellent.
to
Excellent.
That's like a really cool 1, 2, 3, because all of them will be in some form of strange state.
That would be a great name for any kind of club or bar. Just call it the Meth Lab.
The meth lab.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that. Can I
Meth
coin
Lab.
that? Can I take that from you?
Yeah, you can have them.
Ah, sweet. You guys heard it.
Because I can't really use it for my office.
Come to the Meth Lab.
Now that you say that, I want it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Harry Freeman while he's here? And he'll answer all your questions.
How many people are out there right now?
Right now, we got about 400 people watching.
Are you serious?
No, unfortunately, no.
How
We
many-
only have like between the two, we're on two different servers, and we got about
Yeah.
15 people
We're
watching.
really having a hard time with Facebook. Facebook has a hard
This
on
is
for us.
our website, govsradio.com.
Okay.
And then, Facebook's been giving us problems.
Like what?
Like not sending notifications to the people that they always had. Like we were about a year ago, and it was really kind of independent of COVID thing, because with COVID, you know more people were watching, because they were home. So we were like just me and Tony's show during the day, like the day show. We were getting anywhere between 1,000, 2,000 views a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we're like, one day we look and we're like, what's 300? What happened? Did we not share enough? Like,
Yeah,
and then
they
other
changed the,
podcasts were saying the same thing, and I think they just stopped letting notifications go through. So we're trying to figure out a different way. So we've been
Trying to push
posting
people.
like crazy. We developed a new, like the last time you were in here, the whole room was different. So
Yeah, it was like over.
yeah,
it was
so
like,
we did a lot of different changes, and we made a website that we're just this is kind of the early stages of the new website with the new chat box.
Right.
And we're kind of doing well on some shows because they started a little bit earlier, but we just started doing the Green Room show a few weeks ago. So it's new. But we're
Facebook
hoping
is messing you up. Huh?
we're hoping with the
The
website.
algorithms, we just need them to.
Well, I treat Mark Zuckerberg. I'm his primary doctor. So if you want me to take an arm or a leg off,
Yes,
good.
please.
That'd be good.
I'll-
More
if you want-
amputation.
if you want me to just recircumcise them,
I think that would be good.
Okay.
And I also think what we could do is put him to sleep
yeah,
and
place them.
and then whisper in his ear and like hypnotize him while he's out. Then when he wakes back up, all of a sudden he's like, I need to.
Let's
Send the
leave
notifications
Govs
for
Radio
Govs.
alone.
Yes, I need to really get all in on Govs Radio and,
Yeah.
and completely support us.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to stop fascists from posting. So, and this is a Jewish
Yeah.
guy. It's like, yeah, Hitler, fine.
But we've had shows blocked, like one show we have, Christy Miller, Unleashed. She was put in Facebook jail for a
Christine Miller
month.
wasn't she- wait, was she
She used
a
to
DJ?
open-
She plays Broadway a lot too.
Yeah,
Oh, she's an actor.
No, she plays the Broadway Club, the comic.
Oh, a comic.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, she's a
okay.
comedian.
she used to open for Dice. Like she's
Okay.
really great. So she has a show here
And
at
Paul Mooney, the late
Govs.
great Paul Mooney.
Yeah.
And-
That was sad.
She's been blocked twice. She's in her second month of Facebook jail because of something she said on the air,
Right.
which was nothing. And like if a song is played on Facebook with copyrighted issues, even if it's played for, like, we've had the show blocked for a karaoke song, so they've just like gotten a little crazy.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very hard.
It's not really. It's apparently they have humans doing a review board, but it's the AI doing the actual thing, which
Yeah.
is how I'm starting to do my surgery because I don't really want to see all that part. I program the machine. Okay, see what happens.
That's it. Just let
Go
Mark
for it.
Zuckerberg and his robots do it.
Well, no, I don't use his robots.
You got your own?
I got Apple robots.
There you go.
I got the Apple robots.
The Apple robots are
and
doing
then what
it.
happens is anytime a patient leaves, I put in the Apple new tag thing, so I know if they're still alive. If it's still moving, I know if they're alive.
There you go. And the thing with Apple too, every year you upgrade them for another couple $1,000s.
Right.
Well, no, I continue using some of my older machines. I have the Apple Classic from 1982. small black and white screen, 6 inches. So I use that as my monitor when I'm doing surgery. So you can't always tell, like, if is it blood or is it drool? You don't,
Right, you just can't tell the difference.
No, but I'm not spending money every 3 years.
Yeah,
for a
why
new computer.
upgrade at that point?
No.
I mean, what's the difference between it's all liquid, right? In the end of the day, blood,
right,
sweat,
yeah.
tears,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Do you know in the
Or-
movie Psycho, which was black and white, do you know what the blood actually was made of? To
Yes.
Make it what?
Hershey's syrup.
Very good. That's right. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I love
Stuff like that.
yeah, all that kind of stuff.
I just love Hershey's syrup. I want to find out where it is everywhere.
I have a feeling if I cut you open, there would be Hershey syrup.
There's a lot of Hershey syrup in but I just got a full cardio exam, doc,
Yeah.
and they said that I have the heart of an athlete, and even I was surprised. I was like, what?
So you have had a transplant.
Exactly, yeah.
Was it an aging athlete or was it a young athlete?
Well, that's what I wanted to know. He said it was a young African Adonis, and I was like, wow, that sounds like me.
Maybe it was a dead athlete.
But then he started talking about my belly, and then said that I'm actually obese.
Right.
He called you obese.
Yeah, he said technically.
Well, our country is obese, basically.
Yeah.
Our entire country is obese. I used to be 5'9", I'm like 5'8.5", and I'm 170. And I'm not obese, but I am overweight. I
Yeah.
should be like 160.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
but our country is like the heaviest country in the world,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like,
which is why we're sinking in
Yeah.
popularity.
Especially after COVID. Like, we all got 15 pounds extra.
Right.
oh
right.
man, yeah, being stuck in the house all day, nothing to do, just
Yep.
eat, manja, it's crazy.
Yeah, you cut me open. There's Ralph Sizes.
There you go. Yeah, I have Hershey syrup and spaghetti sauce. I think in my blood. It's delicious. You would love it, Harry.
Do you make your own spaghetti sauce?
Sometimes I will. Sometimes I will,
Nice.
but not all the time. Sometimes I do the taboo.
The what?
Do you
It's
open up
taboo?
the jar?
Ragu?
Yeah, like a
That's
jar.
don't you like? There's some really good spaghetti sauces now.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I happen to use Victoria's.
Oh,
That's a
that's
good
a
one,
very
too.
good
It's
one.
tremendous. And
Yeah.
you go to Costco and you buy, like, there's 2 giant jars. It's like $8 or $9, and so I'll buy like 40 jars at a time,
Yeah.
and they'll last for a year, something like that, a year and a half.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I can't even eat pasta anymore, Harry. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm supposed to give up all the white foods.
Oh, did they tell you to do that?
Yeah, I can't eat. They don't want me to eat bread.
doing it?
Can you eat
Pasta,
whole wheat?
rice.
Can you eat whole wheat pasta?
He
No.
doesn't want to.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've eaten whole wheat pasta before. It's not that bad. And I've eaten you can make pasta out of a vegetable too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forget
squash.
Yeah, squash.
You don't want to do that.
There's other things I've seen in the
Yeah.
grocery store and so
So you
forth.
can adapt. I got to lose
Yeah.
weight. I got to get down to 200. 200 pounds is my
What do you
goal.
weigh now?
Now I'm 240.
Come in my hospital. I'll take 40 pounds off like that.
All right, I'll be there. What are you going to cut off?
And then we'll have steak at Governor's again. You like yourself medium rare?
Yeah. That would be great. If all of a sudden I wake up from surgery and I don't have my belly anymore and there's a steak waiting for me.
Did you start dieting? Like, have you lost weight yet?
I started dieting a couple of months ago. That's the thing. So I was originally 260.
Oh, so you were mad because you tried and worked really hard,
Well,
and then some guy calls you fat.
I went
That's
down
not
to
nice.
230, and then I went back up to 240, and then I got off the diet.
Yeah.
And then now the guy's telling me, and this is my first doctor appointment in like 2 years or 3 years. And so I was happy about that. That I got, a heart of an athlete, Harry. I could, who knows what I'm capable of.
Were you athletic when you were younger?
I used to be.
What'd you do?
Well, in high school, I was wrestling and soccer.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and then
I
I-
can see the wrestling. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the soccer.
I was pretty good. I was defenseman.
Fast?
I was fast
Yeah.
at one time.
Now, don't you miss that a little bit?
I do.
And how old are you?
I'm going to be 50 this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
In August.
You got time.
Yeah.
You got time. I pretty good about my weight, but I got up to like 182 about 3 years ago, which was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was a skinny kid,
Right, yeah.
and then time goes on, whatever, and I was like I couldn't change my habits, and I just kept looking at my belly, going, I hate this. And finally I said, I finally said I'm not going to eat the same stuff. I'm going to cut down on what I'm eating, and I'm going to, every time I go to eat anything, I'm going to look at my belly again and think about it until I get it down. And I got down to about 165, and then the COVID hits. And then you kind of go through that thing of now you're sort of stable. And I was like, well, I'm going to allow myself dessert again. It became once a week. Well, now it's a pint of ice cream once a week.
Right.
Instead of just like a medium Ralph's Ices or something. So now I'm inching up, and now I got to find that same thing again.
And then
Ice cream's the hardest thing not to eat.
Oh man,
I love ice cream.
Yeah,
Me too.
no, yeah. Well, yeah.
It's one of those things that either I'm going to eat it or I'm not. Because like once you start, forget it. You're going to have it the next day.
It's definitely the more sugar you have, the more you want more.
Yeah.
And my theory on that is, well, if you didn't have a weight problem, there's no problem. Basically, you could eat as much sugar as you want. You'd have all the energy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Then you crash. Next day you get up, you just start eating more sugar. You know, you can go on like that for, 2 days. Before you end up in a hospital.
Before you end up like,
and you have diabetes.
yeah, exactly.
But basically, it's like I cut down on my sugar intake when I started this whole thing, which did increase the amount of heroin I was using. So
Well, there you go. At least you're balancing it out.
you got to balance it out.
One thing for the
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, because the heroin now takes away the cravings.
Because I heard too, like cocaine could really help you shred the weight. So I was thinking about maybe I'll get a
Do
cocaine habit. Yeah, start a
You
habit.
don't really have the nose for it. I don't think you could get enough cocaine in there. See, my nose, I could,
You could
I
really,
actually, somebody came to my hospital. They had a drug, and it was called black cocaine. I'm going, what the hell is that? And it turned out to be gunpowder.
wow.
I actually sneezed, and I shot 3 people.
Is that really a thing? Black cocaine, people snorting gunpowder?
Well, these days there's plenty of guns, so nobody has to snort it anymore.
True indeed.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, they would snort candy. They would take like those sour candy, crunch them up, and then snort the candy.
Really?
Right up their
What
noses.
neighborhood did you grow up in?
I grew up in the lovely town of Brentwood, Long Island.
Oh, tough neighborhood.
Yeah. These kids were snorting spree candy. Remember the sprees? They were little candies. They were crunching them up, snorting them, and then be like, whoa! And then they would run around, do some flips, and I was like, wow, that looks
Where
like
did you grow up?
Hicksville.
Hicksville. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do that there.
You guys didn't snort the sprees?
No, Hicks don't snort.
Nope.
Gina is very upset that I talked about jar sauce. Her ears are bleeding. She's an Italian.
Oh, okay.
And I'm telling you, like, Italian
Has she
people get
tried
mad.
Victoria's?
The only thing that makes Italian people more mad than jar sauce is if you go to, what's that restaurant? Olive Garden.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
They
I
get
actually
mad.
like people they really get mad.
Yeah, they
And I'm like, I
actually-
love the Olive Garden. Like I
It's-
love the
Do you really?
breadsticks
Yeah.
and oh
that
sure.
bread had preservatives for a long time that are not good for you. I don't know if they cut it out or not, but there's a comic.
There's not even one around me anymore. They've all like closed down.
There's a
But
comic who I forgot his name, but he used to do a joke about the Olive Garden. He said, there's never going to be a hit in an Olive Garden. It's just not Italian enough.
Oh, Greg Vaccarello, I
That's
think.
it,
Yes,
that's
Greg
it.
Vaccarello.
He was just in town.
Yeah, he was just here.
Yeah.
That was actually I remember that bit from years and years ago,
Exactly.
and that's when I first realized that they hate the Olive Garden. The Italian
Right.
people hate the Olive Garden.
Well, there was a new Met a couple of years ago. A guy joined the team from some other town, some other city, and the first day of spring training or whatever, he bought them he ordered Domino's, and the Mets are like, "What are you, out of your mind?
We're in New York.
We're in New York. We have
Right.
the best pizza in the world." He ordered Domino's pizza, and they just went it became a whole thing.
Yeah, every street corner has a pizza place, and
Yeah.
you're ordering Domino's.
yeah, like people that get like frozen pizza at King Cullen or something. I'm like, what are you? You're in New York.
Yeah, it's
What are you
crazy.
doing?
I want to go to the Sparrows. No! You go to Lenny's right up the street. If you don't go to Lenny's, you go to Frankie's. You go to Frankie's, you go to Vinny's. You don't go to Vinny's, you go to Johnny's.
Bill's.
Yeah. And when I lived in other states, when I lived in North Carolina and Atlanta briefly, there's about 1 million New York pizza places.
Oh really? Do they
Yeah.
taste anything?
Some do. The pizza quality's gotten better out of state. It's not as bad as it used to be, but everybody's from New York. So if you go to a place that's New York pizza, the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm from Queens," and then you're like, "Oh, hey," everybody
There's
knows
something
everybody.
about the water. The same thing with bagels. even in California, the bagels aren't the same.
Yeah.
And the pizza is not the same.
Right.
And so, somebody actually was like bringing in New York water, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, it still wasn't the same.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like everyone says it's the water, and there are people like in these other places that bring the water that gets shipped in or whatever,
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
big bottles, and they use that water. And the pizza tastes fine, but I'm not sold on it's the water. I think it's the
I don't know
sauce.
what
I
it
think it's
is.
the texture.
Yeah.
I think it's the ovens that cook
But
them
the
in.
bagels are not. I've had California bagels, and they're not the same.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't have that fullness.
bread. They don't have bakeries like we have here in
Oh
New York.
yeah,
You know,
no
yeah.
bakeries.
Oh, if you go to a bakery like where I was in Atlanta, the best bakery was like at Walmart. You know the little bakery
No.
section. That's the best bakery.
No.
Yeah, it was Walmart.
Whole Foods has a good bakery.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
If I'm gonna
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
sweets, I'll go there. I'll
Yeah.
pick something up there.
Yep.
But then if you go to Stop and Shop, not so much.
Right, and what the problem is taking the mom and pop companies are all
There's plenty of bakeries still around here. Good bakeries.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we got to keep them in business, and you got to keep these mom and pop companies going and keep them in business. Otherwise, it's going to be big corporations running everything, even our
Well,
bakeries.
They already are, so,
It's crazy. I don't even know if we'll ever get it back. I don't think it'll ever be how it used to be with, mom and pop anything, moving forward.
Probably not.
Except for pizza places. Because Domino's doesn't use New York water. Chinese food, yep.
Mexican. Well, Chipotle is all over, but then, there's a taco place in Huntington, Faz's. You ever have them?
No, I have
They've
not.
been around forever, and they have like the best Mexican at reasonable prices. They've been around forever. They've been around at least 20, 30 years, if not longer.
Yeah, because for Mexicans, their version of the Olive Garden is like Taco Bell,
Yeah, that's true.
They're like,
Yeah.
Don't eat a Taco
Yeah.
Bell.
Chipotle isn't bad. They spice it up so much, and it's not bad. I actually do eat Chipotle. They do spice it up to the point where it's like, you need. I put lemon on the burrito, whatever. Or you need a lot of water, but I can eat that, and it's relatively healthy.
But if you
Nice.
could find Mexican food with people that know what they're doing, it's so much better.
Southwest America, like Arizona, I've been out travel.
Yeah.
probably
You
the
know,
best Mexican food
and,
there,
and
huh?
so you go anywhere like where there's the Tex-Mex out west and stuff, but there's places here that are good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's just the Mexican restaurants and the Indian restaurants. The Mexican stuff is either kind of takeout or it's really fancy.
Right.
And the same thing with like an Indian restaurant. It's like, it's like some of them are so fancy. It's like, I'm not going in there for 2 hours to sit, and to sit.
Right.
And the Indians, the other thing is, I have a theory about Indian food and Chinese food. The theory about Indian food is they don't have enough food, so they make everything very spicy, so you can't eat all that much.
Right.
Okay, you appreciate it because
Right.
you can't eat the whole thing.
You can't eat the whole thing.
And in China, they don't have enough food, so they use chopsticks, so you can't eat that much.
And also rice. All that rice fills you up. So they just push that rice on you,
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's
In
crazy.
the Olive Garden, it's all that bread, so they push that, so you don't have to eat the
Oh
regular
man.
food.
Yep, or the chips at those Mexican places too.
Oh, yeah.
I fill up before I even get the food.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They gotta stop. And there's appetizers. We eat before we eat, as George Carlin said. Why do we gotta eat before we eat?
Well, and that's just with the Olive Garden. The salads are like the best.
Yeah.
Like they're the best. So what about that, Gina?
That's not a bad
Did she
point,
say anything about
actually.
the Olive
There's
Garden?
Yeah, they
salads.
come with like a big
Yeah,
bucket
all you can
of
eat.
salad, all
Yeah.
you can eat. It's excellent.
They picked it right in there out of the garbage. It's very good. Greens from the garbage.
Yes, indeed. Hey, there's nothing better than that. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get the because
You guys eat sushi?
I'm not a big sushi guy, but I'll eat a California roll.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like it cooked. Like
I
I
love
like
sushi.
I like shrimp
Yeah.
rolls and stuff, but I like it
You don't
cooked.
like a yellowtail roll or a tuna
No.
avocado roll or anything? No? You tried them?
Yeah, I don't. It's like slimy.
I'm such a finicky eater. The only time I ever eat anything new was when I was dating, and I would have to eat over my girlfriend's parents' house or something, and that's why I dreaded those days. I'm like, oh my god, I'm a finicky eater, and I'm like,
How finicky
oh my
are
God.
you?
I used to be. Now I eat a lot. But back then I was not Tony level. Tony Walker, her husband, very finicky, super finicky eater. None like him. But I used to be close to that. Didn't eat a lot of different things. So when I got invited to somebody's house, especially my girlfriend's parents, I would be nervous about it like days leading up, and then I'd get there, and then they would serve some goulash or something weird, and I'm just like, oh my God. But then I would eat it to not be rude.
Right.
Sometimes I would eat it like a gull and just try to like swallow it. So avoid my taste buds. I would just.
Can you imagine the parents like looking at their
Like,
daughter like
what the hell?
like every once in a while you see the parents go like this.
Or every time I take a bite, I'm just drinking water. The hell's he doing? I don't think he likes you cooking, dear. But anyway, so but I would try the new foods,
Right.
and then I would be pleasantly surprised, and then I would now that be on my list. All right, I didn't eat. I was very finicky. I didn't eat soup until I was in my 30s.
No soup, chicken noodle,
Nothing.
Really?
I hated it.
Oh,
Now I love it. Now I
like. You ever have like a good ramen soup, or you ever have a nabi udon?
not until I was in my 30s, and I never had abi udon.
Nabi udon is Japanese soup, and it's delicious.
Is it really? I might
in
try
the
it.
right place. There are places that they don't do it as well.
Yeah.
You ever have miso soup?
That sounds familiar. I may
That's
have had
Japanese as well.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
So I did
love
go to
ramen.
Korea. I was in South Korea for a month and a half when I worked the Olympics.
What did you do there?
I produced the show. So I produced the, it was, what do you call it? Curling.
You produced.
The in-house game. So we would produce, the Jumbotron, the in-game show. I produced the in-game show.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I got to go to South Korea. I did the other one in Rio, two years before that.
You going to do the next one, or?
Well, I don't know what's going on. It was going to be in Japan. It got pushed back. I was on the list to go, but then it got pushed back because of COVID, and now it's still up in the air. What's going on now?
It's supposed to be next year, right?
Yeah. So I think they're working on it. They pushed it
It'll
back.
happen next year.
Yeah, I haven't got any phone calls yet,
Yeah.
so I don't know how they're doing it. And Japan may not even hire Americans this go round.
Oh, okay. They just can't have anybody from India.
Right? Yeah, because everything's
Their COVID's horrible there. Yeah.
yeah, it's very bad with the COVID.
I want to give a few medical tips, if I may. You still should not do any handshaking.
Okay.
Even now, even though
Yeah,
at my
thank
age,
you, because I
Yeah,
totally
Fist pounds are
agree.
good like we did, right?
Yeah. Even though at my
Tony
age, my
loves
hands are always
handshaking
which is a problem
so
during
much.
surgery, but no handshaking. If you can't get to soap and water, rub your hands real fast so you get an Indian burn,
Right,
kind
right.
of thing. And we don't know if that actually works, but Elizabeth Warren is still alive, so we figure that's worth a shot.
There you go.
And if you have OCD, which I have OCD, I used to wash my hands 20, 30 times a day. My shrink said that's not like socially adaptive. And he's dead now, so, so I was right.
There you go. But I did hear about this. I used to work in hospitals. I was a janitor, basically. They called us something. What do they call us? I was that for like a porter. And they said the same thing. The friction. That's why people, before they eat dinner.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I
the
actually
friction.
just made that up.
Really?
So,
They
yeah.
said that the friction
Yeah.
could burn off
Oh,
some of the germs, not all of them.
I made that up, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, so I did that for a little bit of my life. That was
You've
fun.
done a lot.
Yeah.
We were just talking about like the crazy jobs that we've had.
Yeah.
What's the craziest job you ever had?
Well, crazy or like different or
Whatever is,
um.
whatever will get us up to 17 people.
Nah.
I probably
I was.
knocked it back down to 9.
Tell them about the time we were stripping.
Let me hear about
My
that.
pole work.
My wife actually literally retired today. This
Wow.
is true. 40-something years of work. Was her last day.
Wow.
And she said, I can now pursue my dream of hooking. So I'm very excited.
Little down-
Well,
Downtime.
congratulations
Because
for
we need
her.
the extra income.
So
Nice.
that's great. She's retired and free now,
Yeah,
free
but
from the
that's
man.
True, that's true. She
Yeah,
did-
good. God bless.
So what kind of what jobs have
Let's
you
see.
done?
I worked as a barista for a while.
That's regular. That's normal.
That's regular. Yeah, all right. I worked as a parent advocate in an NICU for a while at a children's hospital.
okay. Again, that's a normal job.
All right. I guess all right. I didn't do anything weird.
No, you haven't.
I don't know. Like one time I met a guy who's like, well, like for a couple of years I was an apple picker. I thought that was like the funniest thing. He's just like, yeah, I just apple picked.
Just walked around and picked apples.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's like old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the job at the hospital for a while, and man, stuff you see working in a hospital when you're the
telling
porter.
me?
Yeah, when you're the porter.
I'm the one doing it.
I had a doctor one time. I was an orderly for like 3 weeks, and before I decided to go back to being a porter. And being an orderly was crazy, and you get to know the doctors and everything. And one of the doctors, I hear him, he goes, "Get that kid in here, Sill. Bring him in here. I need his help." So I had to go in there, and I had to hold this lady who's getting surgery. I had to hold her hip.
Wow.
And I had to hold it.
Was she attractive?
No, she was an older woman, but it was just like a big piece of meat. Like, and I
Yeah.
just had to like hold this
Oh.
thing, and he's doing the surgery, and like, she's nude on the table, and I just feel like I was young. I was in my early 20s, and I was just like, oh, that's
First time you saw a naked woman.
why. Yeah, and I look over the doctor, and he's giggling. Like he did it on purpose. He's just fucking with me. He's just like.
That is such a great idea. I got to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, just bring in some kid.
Some young kid.
Yeah.
Bring in some young kid.
Yeah.
Then one time I had to hold the hose for like
Bring
the
teenagers.
I don't even know what that hose was connected to, but he had me come in the room again, and I had to like hold a freaking hose that was stuff going through it, and he was again just giggling like the same doctor.
Kevorkian?
Like he was like sucking fat out or something.
Or blood or feces or something was coming out of there. And it was a crazy job because you see a lot of stuff.
Listen, you've grossed me out. I can't.
Yeah.
As a doctor, I can't handle
You can't handle that. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so do you perform surgeries and all that good stuff?
I do surgeries all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, I did 5 operations today, and I had a good day. I was 2 for 5.
Very good.
And the other 3, they didn't really have enough insurance.
So you can only do like half the job?
No, I did 40. 40% is like, if you were in baseball, that's Hall of Fame numbers. So 2 for 5.
Yeah, you're still up on the stats.
I'm in good shape there, yeah.
Yeah, because you get more tomorrow. If you have a better day tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Sunday.
Oh, so Monday when you get back.
So tomorrow I'm off. And Monday, the people that should have the surgery tomorrow, they all stack up on Monday. So I'll probably have like 20. And I'll be... What happens is I get so tired, I'll take a nap in the middle of an operation. And then we wake up at the same time. And they don't know the difference.
Yeah. So. They think they just had a great surgery.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're both well rested.
My nose is very itchy with this mask.
Yeah.
When they do the COVID test with me, they had to make a baseball bat out of cotton in order to fit it into my nose. So it's still very itchy. Sorry about that. Can they see us?
Yeah. I just don't have the show mirrored anymore because I'm at like 7%. So.
They can see us right now to some extent?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah,
they could see us.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about Jeffrey Toobin today, and I thought, boy, that would be fun.
Good old Lubin Toobin.
I didn't expect that from him.
I know.
Of anybody. It's like, he's a serious guy. He's a smart guy. It's like, I didn't see that coming.
That had to be the weirdest thing being in on that meeting. All of a sudden, he's just like, all right, I'll take care, everybody. Have a good one.
What a shocker, though. Like,
He gets all they can see is his side of the
Matt Gaetz, that's like, if he doesn't do it, you're shocked.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't seen Toobin since then. He's been shamed out.
He's been gone. And now Rick Santorum is off CNN because he made a lot of he made remarks about Native Americans, and he said, well, they were nothing before we came, and,
Right, yeah,
and so he finally got the can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're in ultra sensitive times right now. You got to be careful until we could start to build back up again. I mean, even in the comedy world, it's kind of scary right now. Where you got to be careful what you say, especially if you're more like if you're a very famous comedian. You have to really be careful now. They're trying to get you. We saw what happened to Tony Hinchcliffe recently. I don't know if you're aware of what he did.
I don't even know who he is.
Tony Hinchcliffe is this comedian from Los Angeles, the Comedy Store. He's one of Joe Rogan's guys.
Okay.
And he went on a tirade against this comedian named Peng Dang, and an Asian comedian, Chinese guy. And he called him the C word, and not.
Oh boy.
No, I know what you mean.
And he also just went on a tirade, made fun of the accent, did the whole thing, all that stuff, and just things you can't do now. And it was just there's also no punchline.
Okay, so where do you stand on something like that?
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm all about free speech.
Right.
And and that goes for even bad taste, right? I always say you're allowed to have bad taste, but you also have to be prepared for the consequences too. So if I go out there and I say something racist or just mean-spirited, or like if I call, like if it's, let's just say I go after a fat guy, I'm like, you fat fuck, and I just go after him.
I've been going after you the whole show. So.
Exactly.
So am I getting canceled?
You never know. But the point is that you have to be prepared for a backlash if that happens, especially if you're an upper known comic. So, but yes, I'll defend your freedom to speech and your freedom of bad taste, but you have to be prepared for the consequences.
So then they end up saying, well, everything is cancel culture, they're canceling me, and then they turn themselves into the victim.
Right. That's what's happened. They're eating each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a point at which it's like, well, I don't like the phrase cancel culture because we've always had cancel culture. There's
Since
always
the
been things
Beatles,
to cancel.
it goes way back.
The thing that I see it sort of is there are things where if you can use that phrase as like a blanket pardon for yourself or for other people, then you can say anything. And I don't think and legally you should be able to say anything. As they say, I may not agree with what you say. I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
Exactly.
But you do have to still deal with the consequences. But now what's happened is the word cancel culture is now giving like, oh, you get a pass, you get a mulligan, because whatever it is you did, you get a pass.
Right.
I try to look at the person's overall background and history. If Mel Gibson gets drunk for a third time and starts ranting about Jews taking over the world, he deserves to be canceled.
Right.
Okay. If the quarterback of the Saints, Drew Brees.
Oh yeah, he had that.
He made I forgot the statements, but it was like,
is pro-American. He was just saying pro-American statements.
he was against the kneeling.
Kneeling, right.
And people went after him. Okay. So, and I was like, I happen to be in favor of the kneeling. I happen to think that if you're black and you're persecuted, whatever, the kneeling, okay, you're ruining somebody's football game because you're kneeling. It's like you're doing something nonviolent. You're not even speaking. And it's like, if that's going to ruin somebody's football game, I'm sorry, but, maybe we should fix the problem. So he said something about, whatever it was. And I looked at his background. It turns out he's really great. He's been donating a lot of money and time to minority neighborhoods. Yeah. And I think his teammates kind of said, hey, Drew, bad move. And he's kind of gotten past that, which I'm glad to see, because his heart, I think, is in the right place.
He just had a great season. The team was behind him. A lot of people thought the team wouldn't be behind him. The team rallied behind him again. He did recover his reputation.
And
he gets retired.
Yeah, he's got a track, and he's going to become a hooker.
Yeah,
he's got a track record of caring about the community of people, and a Mel Gibson or somebody else. It's like your track record is already, tarnished. Where it's like, I'm not giving you a pass here.
And people are getting canceled for all kinds of different reasons. Some valid, some might questionable. But and when they cancel you, they're going after your agent. So you lose your management, you lose your agent, you lose your sponsorships, you lose. So it's hard to maintain. When they really go after you to cancel you, they really take you down. So it's not like it's in vain. It's like,
well, it's definitely case by case, and there's it's also. There's tricky things to that. It's like Kathy Griffin.
Right, yeah.
She posted something she knew was going to be incendiary, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's out, and then she's back a year or two later. What's his name? Louis C.K.
Yep.
He came back, and the thing that I think he missed was he never really addressed it. He never really addressed, there's women that he actually kind of harmed, and they maybe were thinking of being comedians, and they just left and he never really addressed the thing. And so he came back, and it's like, and I knew him a little bit back in the day.
Yeah.
And he never really addressed it. And that's the only thing there. It's like if you addressed it and you kind of like,
he did put out that apology letter.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
At the time, he said, it's all true, I'm going away for a year. But when he came back, he had still not, he never did anything exact about it. You know, and to me, it was like, you needed to kind of, Pete Rose. You remember when Pete Rose was being accused of betting on baseball?
Yep.
And a whole summer he went around the country, I never bet on baseball. And they had the goods on him, and they knew they had the goods on him, and he continued to lie. He lost the public that summer.
Yeah.
If he had just said,
I did it, I'm
sorry, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Here's the thing about Louis C.K. though. He the apology letter that Don's talking about, he did after he addressed it. He actually was hearing about all these Me Too things,
right.
and he actually said, wow, you know what? I think what I was, and it just hit him what happened. And so he contacted all of those women, and then it came out. And so he addressed it personally with them before.
He addressed it beforehand.
And then the apology letter came out just to,
I never heard that.
There's the
one woman. He's the one who outed himself.
Okay,
he was sitting around. He was like,
there's been
wow.
rumors about him for a long time, for years. So the other thing is, there's a chance he might have done it as a preemptive strike to kind of get it out there. And
there's one woman comic, I forget her name, but she was a victim of it, I guess, and she's the one that still hasn't forgiven him, and she's like still hell bent on it.
Right.
And I think she goes against other comedians. She tries to like call other comics out still. I forget her name, man.
Well, but what happens is when you have something that's an offense, and women have certainly had offenses to them without having a voice for a long time, then you finally get a backlash. Then it all comes out, and then every guy is like, well, when is that going to stop? And that's not fair, and that's not fair. And so it's almost like all this poison is coming out, and you end up with this where it's like, well, what's the new thing? And it's back and forth, back and forth. You know, Aziz Ansari got called out by a girl who, it was basically
a date gone wrong,
he had sex with her and she went along, but it wasn't. Apparently, she wasn't like really into it.
Right.
But she didn't object, and he didn't force anything. And then and all of a sudden, he was in danger of being canceled. And then there was backlash against her for like, that's just a bad date. You didn't communicate.
And that's what's happening, too. Back to the Peng Dang thing. That guy's getting a backlash from the comedy community right now for calling out a fellow comedian, and other comics are all going at him. And it's just weird.
Which guy are you talking about?
The Tony Hinchcliffe thing.
Oh, yeah, about the Asian material.
Peng Dang, the Asian guy. So they're all going against this Peng Dang guy.
Right.
So sometimes the victim...
Wait, they're going against the Asian guy?
Yeah.
And what did he... this guy attacked him, and now they're going after the Asian guy?
Yeah.
So the Asian guy is getting dumped on twice, once for being Asian, and the second time for what? Not defending the racism?
Because Peng Dang is the one that tweeted out the act, and it's also Asian Heritage Month or something. Right. So and it was just bad timing.
Do you blame Peng Dang?
No, that's my thing. Is like, look, I will fight for anyone's freedom of speech, whether I agree with it or not. But I don't like mean-spirited comedy, and I don't like hate comedy or hate speak, and so when Peng Dang was offended. Plus, I'm also I don't know, quarter Filipino, so my grandmother, you would never know that was my grandmother if you've seen her. God bless her, she's in heaven now. But she was
Filipino.
Yeah, okay. She was like you would never recognize. You would never say, "Oh, that's got to be Don's grandmother."
I would never see Filipino.
You'll see like this short, little, overweight, fat Asian woman, and she'll come walking in. And you'll be like, who's this lady? Oh, it's Grandma.
That's very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So only Filipino people could tell that I'm Filipino.
You know what it is? First of all, we're in a time where racism is running rampant, and it's like everything came out of the woodwork, and if you are punching down at somebody where they're attacking Asian people or attacking minorities just for being with that minority or whatever, and if you're punching down and using all those stereotypes and punching down, don't call it cancel culture.
Yep.
You're bad. You're doing a bad thing.
Right.
You're hurting somebody who is not doing anything to you. You're just hurting somebody who may not be able to fully defend themselves.
Yeah, especially to me too. If let's say he wanted to come out and shock the crowd and do this whole thing, have a punchline. Be clever about it. There was nothing. There was no punchline. If you watch it, there's no punchline. There was no. You just sit there going, "What the f am I watching right now? What's going on here? This guy's just going on a tirade."
And
So,
I'm with you. I don't know if you remember Otto and George.
Yeah.
Otto and George. I got to know him very well. I worked with him a lot of gigs. And I remember the first couple times I saw him, he was more shocking in the beginning. As time went on, he slowed down a little with his act. But I remember watching him, and I go, everything in here is like homophobic, racist, anti-China. And I remember watching it, and I just was like, I can't believe that he's, and what happens is the first 2 minutes, the audience would look at him like, what the fuck? And then he would crack them, and there would be an explosive release like you don't see with too many people. And it was like his stuff, by the end of the show, I didn't think to myself, he's racist, he's this. I just thought, this guy, his material was really smart.
Right.
He had really good jokes in a very sick, dark manner. And I just thought, this guy is so funny in a sick, weird way that there's nothing bad about this. It's just funny. It's like every race was hysterical.
Right.
Everybody was hysterical, and he broke down sort of barriers in a way. So I'm not prudish at all. If something's really funny, it's funny.
Exactly.
But if you're punching down just to punch down to make yourself feel better, I'm sorry. I don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Come to me. I'll see you in the hospital. I'll take care of that.
All right, cool. I'll send them your way. And speaking of punching down, here comes Tony Walker. Tony, you remember Tony
I'm
Walker?
going to head back because I'm doing the little room.
Okay.
It was a great pleasure.
Harry, thank you.
Man, it's always great to
Okay.
see you, my friend.
And again, come see me. I'll take out 80 pounds.
Yes, I
Tony,
appreciate
come
that.
over here if you don't mind.
Harry Freeman, everybody.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Thanks, Harry.
Boy, that got serious, huh?
It's all right. It was
Good
all
stuff.
good.
That was awesome.
Interesting. Have fun.
What's up, Tony Tone? How'd it go, man? Is it over already?
No.
Hi.
She's Jackie's on the stage right now. She's doing a good 45 minutes, she said. So I just figured I'd step in quick and say hi.
Excellent, man. Awesome. How'd it go?
How many people are out there?
It's full. It's
Nice.
full. So that's
Oh,
probably
that's
around
good.
60, 70 people.
And then how many people are you introducing?
2. It's only
you and
it's
her?
Olga Namer and
You, Olga, and her.
right.
Okay,
Well,
so
but I'm
3
introducing 2 people. Right.
Nice.
So there's just 3 people up there.
That's it. Just 3 people.
So
And
how'd it go?
Olga went already.
Olga went. I don't know. In my opinion, I thought she crushed it. I think she's hilarious. So
Yeah.
she didn't
Me
think
too.
she was kind of. It's a weird. The patio was weird because it's very narrow.
Narrow, yeah.
So you can't really hear the back.
So you probably did a lot better than you thought you did.
Oh, I don't know about that, but but Olga actually said when she was up, the people in the very front were giving their dinner orders. So
that's
she said it kind of
awful.
threw her a little bit because she couldn't hear anything past them.
Right.
But I heard laughter throughout her whole set. She came off not really sure. I was like, no, I thought you did great.
Did you do blowjob jokes? I'm just curious.
There might have been 1 or 2 in there, yeah, and maybe 1 or 2 Jewish jokes.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
Just one.
yeah. Right. Just one.
All right. So
but-
tell us some. So did you do 5 minutes? What'd you do?
James comes back there.
How'd it go?
Comes back there. First off, so all right, he shows up back there with Olga. He goes, so now Jackie wasn't there yet. It's 7:25. Jackie's not there.
Wow.
Now, I know James must know she's in the building or 5 minutes away, but he's messing with us, and
Is he messing with you?
I don't know, but
Okay.
sure I would like to think so. He's
He's
like,
even have to headline.
well, he said that to Olga. He goes, you're going to do the whole show. It doesn't matter if she shows up, and she's like, she was refusing. She's getting all crazy, and I'm laughing my ass off. He was picking on her like crazy, and she's like, how are you going to start the show when she's not even here? He goes, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. He's like, you can do the whole show. It
I
doesn't
want
matter.
you guys. I want you to do Benny and you to do James and just have a conversation. Can you do that?
But then he turns to me, and so he's talking to Olga. But he turns to me, and goes, "So Tony's going to do like 10 minutes, and then you'll do your 40 or 50. You'll be fine." Immediately, 10 minutes. I don't have 10 minutes, man. I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, all right, how do I stretch? What do I do? I'm like freaking out in my head. And he's like, "Tony, you got this, right? I'm going to start the show. You go out there, you do your thing, and Olga, you introduce Olga, and I'm like, yeah, okay, James. In my head, I'm like, like I didn't know what the hell. So he introduces me, and I go out there, and he
But
says,
you weren't nervous though, right?
I was nervous.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was fine until I saw James, and then it was like, bam.
That's
I was, like,
natural,
nervous.
man. It's natural
Yeah.
to be nervous.
And he says, all right. He says, so how do you want me to introduce you? I'm like, I don't know. I go, Tony Walker? He goes, Anthony Walker. I'm like, okay. And then he introduced me as Tony anyway. So, I go out there and, I'm getting them all pumped up, and that's going fine. And then I did my first joke about, being married 28 years, and they,
It's kind of a bump.
yeah, and they started doing that. I'm like, yeah, but that's my thing, and that is kind of what my jokes are. They're very corny and rimshot jokes.
But they don't have to be. Like there are a couple that like go on for a little bit that are like better than the bump stuff that you got going. But
the stuff about having a daughter with autism.
well, it's because it's a serious topic.
I know, but I try to make light of it, and I don't make fun of them, but I try to just make light of the whole
No,
situation.
you don't make fun at all. You make fun of the people that aren't autistic.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that bit from the first time I saw it, like a year ago. It's strong.
It's
good.
good,
Yeah.
right?
So you might
But
have
like,
to-
thanks.
you just sit there and you take it in because it's interesting and you're not
I
used
think
to
it's
it.
funny too if you
Yeah.
know autistic people, which I think we all do now. Everyone
Yeah,
knows
these days,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot that you could understand about it, and you're making light of it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I would love to see your act so I could help you critique it a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I think that look when you hit those type of notes that's uncomfortable for people where they don't know, am I allowed to laugh at this? Or,
Right.
Just keep feeding that, and then let them know that they can laugh at it eventually.
Well, I did say that. I said you can laugh if you want. Maybe you just don't want to.
Please.
But then the leg stuff, I just got this.
when you turn it
When I
around
flip it
there?
around, yeah. And then finally, I heard a couple people. I'm like, good, you're laughing, good. Let's keep laughing. And and then I started doing all the one-legged jokes, and I got nothing but
Yeah.
I'm like, and I just says, these are the jokes, baby. This is it.
It's like so funny with him because like he like a lot of people just love that and then so my son Sam comes up to me, he goes, Tony doesn't have to do those jokes.
What you should do is do those jokes in character or something. Be like, like my uncle, hey Tony, and then like
that's
that.
interesting,
Hey
yeah.
Tony,
That's a good
hear about
idea.
the one-legged guy? And then you can even look at the audience like, no, what's the one-legged guy
Oh,
doing?
that's a great
That's
idea.
a really good idea.
Yeah, see.
You're the best. So, all right. So I'm going to head back in a second because she's probably about halfway through, and I'm nervous. So I feel like I need to be there just in case.
Yeah,
But,
be ready.
but so Olga. So I introduce Olga, and she's out there. She's doing a thing, and I'm keeping track. And I knew she was doing 20. So I'm thinking, actually, let me first before that. I'm coming off the stage and I'm getting them pumped up again. I'm like, Jackie Fabulous is here, right? You're going to love her. I go, you guys know who she is, right? You familiar with her from America's Got Talent? Nothing. So I go, well, you're going to love her anyway. Don't worry. I get off, and sure enough, she's like, nobody knows who I am. I was like, oh, fuck. So I was like, sorry about that. Sorry. I said, but they're going to love you. I'm like, holy fuck.
She's
So
very
I know not
funny.
to say that anymore. So
Don't ask questions.
yeah. So Olga's up there, and she was doing about 20, and it was just about 20. So I'm standing by the door so I can go out, and she says, she goes, well, that's. She said, she goes, those are my jokes, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for me. So I open the door to go out. I take one step out, and she goes, I'm just gonna leave you with 2 more jokes. I'm like, fuck. I turn around and go back in. Sure enough, James comes back. You wait for them to say their name. When they say, I'm Olga Namer, that's when you go out. I'm like, okay. Sorry,
good.
James.
It's
Sorry,
just
man.
all
As you
knowing
go,
stuff.
man. You learn as you go.
So I feel like I'm fucking up left and right, man. So
Hey, it's like being in training.
Yeah.
You're
training in front of everybody.
You should have the trainee badge on like they do at Walmart or something.
Yeah,
The
right.
student driver.
Yeah.
No, you're kicking ass, man. I'm proud of you, brother. Keep.
I am
going,
too. I
man.
think you're doing great.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to leave this here.
And see if Jackie Fabulous still wants to come back here.
I did mention it. I got a polite okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was complaining that she's tired, and I think at one point she was sitting back there.
Is she
It's just me and
performing-
her back there. And I'm just all right. I didn't
Is
know
she
if I
performing
should
tomorrow too?
massage her back. No, I think it's just tonight.
Okay, just a one night thing.
Yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
that's that.
All right.
So did any of these guys come in?
We had Harry Freeman. That's about it so far.
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yeah.
Johnny just walked by. Maybe I'll try and grab him.
Nah.
Yeah.
No?
See if he wants to come in.
No,
Yeah.
don't. Right?
If you want to? Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'd love to talk. I never really
All right, I'll see
had
you
a conversation with Goomba.
Oh, all right. Let me see. What
They were. I'm just like they were very quiet in the green room when I went by and said hi. So like
Yeah.
they just had that look like Yeah, that's why I don't want you to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
they
it's
didn't.
I'm good either way. Well, that's cool. You know.
Yeah, and he usually does better than he says he feels.
Yeah.
So-
no, nobody ever feels like they did great unless you really kill big, and
Yeah.
people like out of breath laughing so hard. Then
Yeah.
you're like, man, I killed tonight. But look, it's his first one out there with the training wheels off. First one
Right.
out there without any friendly faces in the audience, people that know him. He doesn't have, Rada and Bosie and you and the whole gang out
It's
there.
so weird not like seeing him do it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I watch him do everything that it's kind of like the parent that like lets their kid go off to like preschool for the first time. Like I don't know. I just feel
Well, he's he's got it.
he looks happy.
He likes doing it.
Yeah.
So he's got that's half of the battle, and then he knows what's funny and what's not funny. He knows what
Yeah.
works. He knows how comedy is. So he's got that
Yes.
going for him. So you
Yeah.
just gotta. It's just doing it. It's just like anything
It's
else.
just practice.
The
for
more you
him.
do it, the better you're gonna get. The more your timing will get, and
because he's got the skill set.
Yeah,
So he
he's-
just has to practice.
he's naturally funny. That's what I told him earlier. I was like, listen, don't think about it. Don't psych yourself out. Don't think about your act. Just go out there and have fun, and then everything will start to start to flow through. You know what I mean? So, I think he's
I'd be worried I'd forget my act. Like I would just be worried. That would be like it would just fall right
I
out of my head.
stumbled when I was doing it. I stumbled all the time. It would mess up my jokes or my segues or whatever. But you just kind of got to flow and get into it. And I hate watching my old stuff. That's why I never post it. It's so bad.
I think the one thing because like I've watched him do hundreds of murder mysteries where he starts the show
Right.
and he does the crowd work and he gets them going before the first few actors come out and he's so good at it. Like sometimes like because I just do the sound for the shows and sometimes I get so interested in what he's saying and doing that I forget to do my job. Like I'm like, oh, Mike, oh, this person, So he's really good at it. But I think one thing that he's going to need to change is when he does crowd work for the murder mysteries, he really does one-on-one things all the time, and he asks questions and he brings them in, and they're all excited as a group
Right.
to be a part of it because that's what murder mysteries are. Like when he does the redneck wedding, people come in with like beer cans hanging off their head with
Right.
straw
They
out of
they're
they
into
get
it.
like really into it. But so I feel like he's going to be on stage and ask questions, and the audience is different. They're like, I'm just here enjoying my glass of wine. I don't have to work with you right now. Right?
But if you
Am
ask
I like
somebody-
reading it wrong?
It's part of a lot of stand up, especially the MCs. They will always work the crowds. Some people are really good at it. Like today, some of the best at it is like Big J Okerson. You ever see him work the room?
I've never seen a show.
Wow, that guy is a master at working the room. Andrew Schultz is a master at working the room. These are guys that just boom, boom, boom. And some have stock material. So, what do you do for a living, sir? You're a doctor? And then I have like 10 doctor
Yeah.
jokes ready at the ready.
Right.
Boom. And then they're lawyer jokes, or if they're single, married, whatever. They have a whole Rolodex in their heads for these kind of comebacks. But playing the crowd is expected a lot of times. That's why whenever I go to a comedy club, I hate sitting in the front.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be called out. Because I don't want to talk to the comedians. Because
You just want to sit and enjoy
I just want to
it.
enjoy it. But there are people that want to engage
Yeah.
and be like, oh yeah, it's our first date, da, 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 and go on and on. So I mean, I think Tony's, like you said, he's built for this. He does
Yeah.
this. It's not much different than dinner theater emceeing.
And
'cause
people
it's
root for
interactive.
him too.
Yeah.
Like people, like you see him on stage, and there's just something just sweet about his face that you're rooting for him. You know, so I think he'll be good at this.
He has the likability factor, like you said, and the likability factor is 80%, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. If you go up there and people like you, half the battle is won, because then, like I said, they want to laugh, they want to and have fun, they want to engage. It's if you're unlikable, that's when it's hard. When
Yeah.
you go up there and you're just like, hi everyone.
Just like that. Like,
Yeah.
what do people like that do?
Then you gotta. They put themselves on the defense. So now their material has to be that much more punch to it to when you get on that guy's side or that girl's side.
Yeah.
So now they got to win you over. So if he comes out and says hi everybody, and then they say I don't know, a
Hi
joke.
back.
Yeah, no, if the comedian after he says that follows up with a funny ass joke where you can't help but laugh, then that guy won you over. Now he brought you to him. He didn't go to you. Mm-hmm. So there's also something to that too. So if you bring the audience to you, right, there's something more powerful about that, because now they're following my lead.
Like you earned it more or something.
Right. If you go to them, if you pander to them, you could still get the laughs, but they're not going to remember you, so to speak. They'll remember the one when you go to them. I remember a long time ago. You know Mitch Hedberg, the comedian?
Yeah.
So I love the late, great Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
And I got to interview him a few times. And one time that's what he told me. He was talking about his comedy. And I was like, yeah, sometimes when people see you up on stage, Mitch, they don't get you right away. It takes a couple of these jokes. He goes, I never go to them. They always got to come to me. And that's when I realized what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, once they come to me and they cross over and they're in my world and my mindset,
Yeah.
then the jokes are even funnier. And
Right.
everything he does is funnier. Even if he reacts or if he looks, if he says something and looks away, everything becomes funny at that point once people buy in. So that's another trick, and only a few can really do that. But,
Right.
But yeah, it's good times, man. I wish I was out there to see Tony. That would have been so good.
Yeah.
Because last time I saw him was that show a year ago. Right before
really?
COVID. Right, yeah, that's the last. I haven't had a chance to come out to his other performances.
Yeah,
yet.
I think it's the fourth time, which is so like little to have him do this. But all four times he was really good, and each one got like a little bit better. Then he cut some stuff out and made it sharper, and that's what you need to do. You can't you want to stick with your routine at first and kind of hone it, but you want to make it like just a little bit sharper each time, and he does that. He can't not do that. Even with his like scripts for the murder mysteries, he like rewrites them all the time.
Yeah, man. I hope he gets more and more of these gigs. This would be great.
Yeah,
this is what he
I
wants
hope
to do.
so too.
This is why he took the class in the first place. I remember talking about it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or whatever, saying that he wants to be an MC. This is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So now he's got his chance, man. It's like, you better lose yourself. The music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, Tony. Don't miss your chance to blow. Because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. I don't know. If I don't stop now, I'm going to continue rapping the entire song.
Well, if Jackie comes in, you could sing that to her. She'll like that.
Oh, yeah, she'll like that.
Yeah. I YouTubed a couple of her things. I was kind of hoping that she did come in because she's really very funny.
Jackie Fabulous. She is hilarious, man. I also watched some of her stuff on YouTube. I was laughing out loud. It was very funny, man. She's really good. I never heard of her. And she was on America's Got Talent and all this stuff. And now she was headlining the cellar. I mean, headlining out here in the patio. And I'm sure she killed.
Yeah. I wonder how Harry's doing. I'm like all worried about his nose. What was going on? Holy. I think he's allergic to his mask.
It was very distracting. First of all, we couldn't see any expressions on his face.
No.
Because he was wearing the mask. And he was vaccinated. And I told him, too, to ease him up that I have all my
And
stuff.
I was vaccinated.
Yeah, you were vaccinated?
There's a HEPA filter right in the...
Yeah.
No one's making out with him.
So he decided to keep his mask on the entire time. He's funny though.
I think he's allergic to his mask because when he was moving his mask, his nose is so red.
Yeah, it's like rashy on the sides and stuff.
Yeah. And then he would like be like really going at it, and then I'd like I'd look away because it'd be like kind of disturbing, and then I'd catch the delay up on the thing, so I'd be like like I didn't know where to look.
It was disturbing. The first time I saw Harry Freeman, so when I was doing stand-up in the late 90s, early 2000s, Harry was already an established act.
Every time he comes in here, it's funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, it's guys like that, like, that have been doing it for, like, over 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's, it's like, what's next, Harry?
Yeah.
I'm root for these guys, and I remember him when he was headlining all these shows back in the day. It was like him and like Vince D'Antona were on a bill together. Remember Vince D'Antona? He also had a puppet, and
what do you mean? Also had a puppet?
Well,
He's
he talked
got a
about
puppet.
We'll talk about Otto and George.
Oh,
earlier.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Vince D'Antona, I forget his puppet's name, but the late great Vince D'Antona also. He was an awesome guy, very funny. He had a puppet also. And, yeah, man, we had them on our radio show, WUSB. And we had the puppet.
Really?
And we're like, we're on the radio. No one could see
Why are you
this.
bringing your puppet on the
Yeah,
radio?
and he still had the puppet talking. And the puppet's actually moving around. And, man, I wish I videotaped some of those old WUSB shows. Those are good times. But I don't know. Is anybody else coming in here?
I don't know. We could stop if you want.
No, we're still good.
All right.
I'm still good to keep going.
Okay. All right.
I'm just hoping that somebody else comes through. I saw Rocco Perillo out there. He told me why he changed it to Rocco, and I really want to get him on to talk about that.
Oh, but you do know, so you can fess up if he doesn't commit. But you want him to tell the
I
story.
want him to tell it. I don't want to steal his thunder on that one.
All right,
But I do know why, and so that's very interesting to me. And I also want to talk to him about this open mic that he's got going on here at the Little Room. And I haven't seen many other comics in the hallway for the Little Room. And then also, like I said, we have Goomba and Rodia in there in the main green room. I haven't seen them in the hallways either.
They're like locked up in the green room.
And they're Governors Radio brothers. They're part of the Governors Radio family. I was hoping that they would pop in, but I know. Look, when you got a show, your head's in a different mind space. So I get it.
Yeah, the last time they were when they were first here, like a year or so ago, like I remember there was like food in the green room, and they were like passing out food. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no food in there.
No, they had a whole catered food in there.
Oh.
I saw all the little plates and little things going on. So they're probably just eating. And then the patio has got Tony Walker is out there emceeing a big show today. And we're hoping that Jackie Fabulous could pop in. She should be wrapping her set up soon, and then maybe she'll come in here. That'll be awesome. And if you have any questions for Jackie Fabulous, audience at home watching or in your car listening, let us know. Love to know it. And we'll ask accordingly. We'll let Jackie Fabulous know you're thinking about her. And if you haven't had a chance to YouTube it. She's funny. She has a great bit that she did, the Comedy Cellar. It's hilarious, man. She really is good. And I think we're going to be hearing more of her for sure.
What's going on with your with the top 5 show? What do you got going on?
Top 5s. Oh man, I got a good one coming up on Tuesday. We got Frank Liotti.
Oh, okay, good.
So Frank Liotti is
explain if we don't know.
Yeah,
she's
your girl, Jessica Curson. He's her best, like one of their besties.
Oh, nice.
And Frank is a hilarious comedian, and we're doing a top 5 of the top 5 greatest gay comedians.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think each of these top 5s are awesome. I'm really enjoying doing these top 5s. I had a lot of good ones. I love them all. Yeah. And we had everybody on there. We had Neil Rubenstein on there. Andy Plagianos was on there. We had
Joey.
Charles Goonan. Joey Petroni has been on there. I also have Maureen Langen from Hanging with Langen. Some people might know Maureen Langen. She's been around for a long time. Great female comedian, obviously, and we do a top 5 of the greatest female comedians that you should know is how she wanted to phrase it.
Like not the obvious ones,
Right, not the obvious.
like the sleepers or the ones that like people wouldn't think about.
The game changers, the ones that started early on. Like she goes early, like not like vaudeville, but like in from the 50s, I'd say on. But she goes early, like like we've talked about Mom's Mabley already in the on another top 5. But
Okay.
she starts with like Mom's Mabley, and then we kind of go through and I talk about Jean Carroll, who's one of my favorite all time. Great kind of foremothers of comedy.
Sure.
Because, Jean Carroll, if you don't know who Jean Carroll is, Google her too. If you ever watched The Fabulous Mrs. Maisel, that show, it's kind of what Mrs. Maisel is, Jean Carroll, essentially. So it's all good.
And it's a great show. I like that show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our comedy friends in New York have been on that show. They almost hired Stevie G.B.
Oh, really?
to play Groucho. So he had a chance to play Groucho. He went and auditioned and everything, and I think he's still waiting on that. So it'd be cool if Stevie GB gets on there. But a lot of New York comedians have been on the Fabulous Mrs. Maisel show, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. My bad. But
They, you know what? Like the one thing that I really enjoyed about that show, and I only watched the first and second season, but for people that had never heard of Lenny Bruce.
Oh man.
They nail Lenny Bruce in this, and it's like just the idea that they've explained to him and who he was and what he stood for, and kind of like things
And it's
about him
early
and how
Lenny.
funny he
Yeah.
was. Like I thought that was great for the show.
And it takes place like the early Lenny, right when he like mid-level. So it was right when Lenny first started. He was like doing impressions, like Lon Chaney impressions and all this stuff, and he would sing and dance and do all that normal stuff for that time. But then he saw Mort Saul perform and saw Mort Saul being political and conversational. And that's when Lenny said, I want to be Mort Saul. And then he started to become more edgy, throwing a little Yiddish, a little hipster slang, little curse words here and there, and then started to also touch on the hypocrisies of the world and really hold up that mirror and go, look, this is what you look like, everybody. And he was tackling religion. And this is back like
When they
it's
didn't.
taboo now. And he was doing this in the 50s, in like the late 50s. Religion, racism, sex. He was talking about what you could watch on TV. So he goes, you can watch somebody get killed on TV, but you can't watch somebody make love on TV. What's wrong with that?
Right.
And when you think about it, it's
Right.
like, wow, that's true. You couldn't watch like these cowboys. Remember in the 50s and 60s, like Lone Ranger or something? Bow, 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 bow. All these guys are having shootouts. But God forbid you see a couple making out or making love or whatever. That's taboo. So it's like, what's the priority? So Lenny was bringing that kind of stuff. And he got essentially massively canceled.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, it is good that it's showing that show like that, like the Marvelous Mrs.
And
Maisel.
then,
And they talk about Mom's Mabley in that show too.
When he died, what was it? Alcoholism?
It was heroin.
I don't even know.
Heroin.
It was heroin.
Heroin overdose. He was found naked in his house. He just collapsed. And there's pictures online you could see of like the police pictures of him laying in the hallway.
Oh, it's awful.
It was awful. The last couple of years of his life was all about that damn court case. It bled into his act. He was obsessed with it because he knew he was right. And he was also very upset that his act was being a transcript in court, and he would have some bailiff reading his act. So then Lenny would famously say, he's like, not only do I got to defend my act, but now I got to go defend this guy's act. Because he wasn't delivering, or he was just like,
That's so funny.
Yeah, so...
that's awful.
Yeah, so, I mean, Lenny was a genius and a martyr for comedy.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that, if he were to suddenly appear now, he would be like, nothing's changed.
Right.
It's only gotten worse.
Right.
So it's...
And I go back and forth with the whole... what you can say and not say, because I kind of just feel that funny is funny. People should be able to say whatever they want to say, and if they're funny, everyone will laugh. It's just...
I think comedy has always been there to kind of turn the tide and call people out and call out the establishment. They've been doing it since the Jester, since way back. The
And
Emperor's
heal. Like sometimes, like when an awful situation happens and a strong comedian will come along, they'll make a awful situation lighter. And that's the gift of comics, to curb them.
A long time ago, I interviewed Jim Norton. I was trying to
Oh
write
yeah,
a book.
really? That must have been cool.
Yeah, I was trying to write a book called The History of Cringe Humor, and I got to talk about comedians and this very subject that you're talking about here, about how comedy could heal and how you take on negative subjects and make them funny.
Yeah.
And they used to have all those New York comics, those tough crowd guys, Jim Norton's, Patrice O'Neill, Bill Burr,
right,
all those guys,
right.
Nick DiPaolo. They would actually...
I love Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr, he's one of the greatest right now. But those guys used to have kind of like, they would all sit around this table and they would talk and they would dare each other to see how far they could push the envelope. What can you make funny? Can you make rape funny? Can you make, I don't know, killing somebody
whatever
funny?
Topic,
racism
yeah.
funny? And they would figure out ways cleverly to make it funny. And they always did. I mean, if you watch even Louis C.K., when he was on Saturday Night Live, there was you could still find it on YouTube, I believe, but it was banned. I don't think SNL will ever air it again. But it was his opening monologue, and in the opening monologue, he actually takes on pedophiles and pedophilia. Did you see this bit?
No, I didn't see it, but I saw him take on Down syndrome, and it was a little bit of a miss. But he tries new things.
But the pedophile joke, if you never heard it, he goes. He goes, I don't know, these pedophiles, they'll do it once, then they go to jail and they come out and then they do it again. Then they go to jail and they come out and then they'll do it again. He's like, I'm not saying I agree with that, but man, it must be really good. He's like, if you risk going back again and again, it's got to be great. And he just got all these like oohs and ahs. And it's a interesting angle to go on for that, where it is, you can see the humor in it and it is cringy. It's just to me it's just so cringy because it involves children, but the way he does it is so clever, and that it's funny.
And he tries to
he's just a master
take on the topic.
I mean, if you ever seen his show, Louis,
I love his show.
It was just genius. It was so well written, well crafted. The guy is a brilliant mind, and he likes to push the envelope. He enjoys it. I think he enjoys rattling the cages. And I think that might even be a part of him that enjoyed this whole being canceled. He's still doing shows. He's still out there. And
I'm going to go with no on that.
No, I think you got to hear his act. Have you heard when he and Harry must not have heard his latest stuff.
Yeah. Did you see him when he was here, or did you see his?
No, but he had an act he released.
He lost like so many millions of dollars. It was like
I remember because the movie deal and stuff. But he's still rich. And his whole act.
And Louis was canceled.
Louis was already done.
Well, what it was? Better Things.
Oh, yeah. That movie he was making?
No, it's a...
Oh, that show sucked anyway. I hated that thing. It was so stupid.
I don't know. He, messed that up.
But, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you get canceled. But I think that Harry didn't watch that last bit. Because Louis goes right at it.
Yeah.
He goes right at it and talks about it and makes it funny. So, look, I think Louis C.K. is one of the greatest comedians ever.
Yeah, me too.
And that's saying a lot. I think he's an evolution.
Because you know them all, so if you're saying that. Because I just have always really liked him. I don't know. There's just something about him that I've enjoyed his stand-up forever.
Brilliant. He's been around forever. And he's an evolution of everybody. His guy was Carlin. And did you know, I don't know if you knew this or not, that Louis C.K. is Mexican.
Yeah, I did. Because it's his name is actually, you just pronounce it C.K.
Yeah. And he speaks, his first language is Spanish.
Yeah, because I don't even think he was born in America.
He was born in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's nuts because he does not look, he looks like he's Irish or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's from Boston, so you just think that he's just some Irish redheaded dude.
Right.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Louis C.K., one of the GOATs, hopefully he comes back here again, performs. I would love to see him. Because that's funny, too, when all that hoopla happened a couple of years ago, it was here.
Yeah.
When they leaked the tape of him and he was making fun of that school shooting. See, he hasn't missed a beat. He's fearless. He's canceled.
I don't actually remember the school shooting thing.
So he's canceled, and his first act back when he's just trying out new material is
Yeah.
about school shootings. And he's like, now what's with the school shooting? Because remember when that school shooting in Florida happened? Sure. And all of a sudden this girl who wore this like camo jacket and stuff, she became this big leader almost.
Yeah.
And she was like, he's like, what made her become a leader? Why all of a sudden are we listening to her? He's like, what did she do? All she did was not get shot.
You got a bad thing for that?
Yeah, because then they leaked it, and then they were like, here he is again. He
but
comes.
You try a new thing, and that's the thing that I really like about him. He doesn't do like the same stuff all the time. He tries new things, and so you can't be completely thrilled about a comic's 99% hits and then be pissed off when they hit a nerve with you and they haven't quite honed it, because they may not have honed it yet. Like he may not have honed that, and like the thing with the like when he was here and he did this thing, this small section on like Down syndrome, but like in my head, because I've watched these guys so much that I just know in a year it's going to be completely different and honed.
Yeah,
but he was trying stuff out, and
yeah.
he was doing this thing where like how we're just calling everything different names now, and we're trying to be all, political, like politically correct with everything that we're doing, and so we're not going to say retard or anything anymore. Which is like now you have Down syndrome. He's like, and he was like, what do you say to your kid that has, Down syndrome? He's like, well, we're not going to call you that anymore. We're not going to say like retard. He's like, so I'm not a retard anymore. I was like, oh no, you're still very retarded. We're just going to call you something different. And it was like, and you could tell like the whole audience was like, oh.
Nick Swartzen had a joke.
But in a year, that's going to be something that makes, because what he was doing at the time was he was being there for the kid who, all they're doing is changing this kid's label, and both labels are awful.
Right, yeah.
So he was like rooting for the kid, but he just didn't like hone it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I like when they point out the hypocrisies of how stupid things are. Like Nick Swartzen has a joke where he's like, he's telling stories like, last week I did a joke and I talked about that this kid was a retard. He goes, and then afterwards this lady comes at me and she's really mad and she goes, I'm really offended by your show. He's like, why? He goes, because what you said, that joke wasn't funny. She's like, my son is a retard. And then he goes, you just called your son a retard, man.
I'd never do that.
Yeah, so he says it way funnier than me, by the way. Check it out. Google that, too. Here, I got to give you a hug. Gina wants me to give you a hug.
Oh, how come?
I don't know. She said you know why.
Oh, all right.
So there it goes, Gina. I did my obligated hug.
Because she thinks the Olive Garden is good.
Oh.
Thanks, Gina. Italians everywhere.
Wow, Gina likes the Olive Garden?
Gina loves the Olive Garden.
But doesn't like canned sauce.
She loves canned sauce.
She said no to canned sauce, but yeah. And then Elizabeth Batapete saw Louis C.K. at McGuire's. When was that? When was he at McGuire's? Was it post or pre-masturbation outing? Like, was he already it canceled, or was he still the awesome and noble Louis C.K.? Just curious when you saw him. That's pretty cool. Louis C.K. rocks. He is one of the GOATs. He's been a man. I remember, man, seeing Louis C.K. long time ago, man, and when he had a full head of hair, of red hair, skinny and everything. He was great. 2 years ago, wow. And he performed at McGuire's. Was it a secret show?
Yeah, that's when I saw him.
Here, you saw him at McGuire's or here?
I saw him at McGuire's.
Oh, so you might have saw the same show with Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth. That was probably the same show.
Yeah, 2 years ago. It's post. Yeah, so she's saying that. Did he talk about and did he face the charges? Did he make light of it? Because I saw him do that on his last special. I'm just curious if he was already doing it. And did he do that joke about the high school shootings?
I think he came out, and I remember him. He walked out, and he's like, "How was everyone's year?"
Yeah.
You know, and then he started talking about like his year. Let me tell you about my year.
That was the first ever comedy show you ever been to,
There
and it
he
was
is.
Louis C.K. And Tony Walker is back.
What's up?
We were just talking about how we think you might be edging out Louis C.K. As comedian value. No, I'm just kidding. No, how's it go?
As most likely to jerk off in front of a girl.
So is there a second show tonight too?
Anthony's doing a second show. But no, she's
the patio?
done.
Oh, okay.
On the patio's done. Jackie has left the building.
She ran
She
off the
big-timed us, huh?
patio right
Yeah.
into her car.
Yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
too big for you, sugar.
Anybody else come in?
No.
No. We just been rapping, man. We just been talking.
You want me to raid Perillo's thing?
Who's there? Have you seen anybody?
I went in. I was in there earlier before it started, and I didn't recognize anybody.
No, I think I mean I don't know.
Oh, that's true. It's late. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have some good.
We're happy to see you.
Yeah.
Hey, likewise.
We are very happy to see you. And just reading some of the comments and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Nice.
Because we talk about Louis C.K. and Elizabeth Batapede had saw him at
Oh, yeah?
McGuire's along with Sallie. Were you at that show too?
I was.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
Yeah, at McGuire's. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And she was there too. So just trying to see if he was like taking on the allegations head on.
Harry
and act
said
and-
that he never addressed the issue, and
No.
I was like, "That's so not
Well,
true."
not at those shows. He didn't.
He addressed the situation. You know.
I don't remember that. He did. He actually said something about it on stage.
No, I
No,
just
Harry.
mean like in.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I think Louis C.K. said something about it on stage in his one of his recent acts.
Oh, did he?
He challenges it. He talks about it head on. I forget
Right.
the jokes and everything, but I was like, oh shit! Like I was proud of him. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this guy's going for
Well,
it.
he got in trouble with those string of shows that we saw because he was trying out new material and he made the autism joke,
Yeah,
which
I already
he
said
made
it.
some
Yeah,
headlines.
I
But
already-
that,
And then he
fortunately for him, that died down really quick.
and it
the high
wasn't
school shooting
autism,
jokes.
but
It wasn't autism. What was
no,
it?
you just took it in
Some
as
special
autism
needs of some sort.
because you're sensitive.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Now I was saying also he did the joke about the high school shootings that made the headlines too.
Yeah. But I thought he was great, and I mean, I'd like to think that stuff is behind
Yeah,
him.
I don't even care. He's still one of my favorites.
But he hasn't really done much since all that. Well, I mean, we had COVID, of course, but even prior
I mean,
to
he's
that.
not
Brennan
Bill
was
Cosby,
opening
for
for
Christ's
him.
sake, you know?
Brennan was, yeah.
Yeah, like and they were traveling around doing all these secret shows. They couldn't advertise any of the shows because they didn't want freaking protesters and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
They wanted to leave the Karens home.
Well, if I remember right, they didn't show up here. If I remember right, there were some threats of some protesting going on, but as far as I remember, they never showed up.
Right.
I remember when he performed at the Comedy Cellar, he showed up and then half the crowd got up and walked out or something.
Oh, really?
But those days are done. Like when
Yeah.
he showed up at this show, I think it was the Cellar, and this is like the most recent thing I saw of him.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, very special. He's like, please put your phones away and put
Yeah,
everything
no
away.
kidding.
And he goes, and then like before he even introduced him, so people don't know. It's like the midnight show. You don't know who's coming. And then also he's like, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Louis C.K. And the place erupts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets up there. He's like, hey, everybody, how's it going? And he's like, man, how many of you like to masturbate or something like that? He just gets right into it, like right out of the,
Good.
right out of the gates.
Right. Good for him.
He's like, because I love it. And
Because I love it. I love to
but
do
just
it.
never do it, in front of people. That's the thing. You just can't do it. But he goes, everybody has a thing. That was the joke. I remember it. He goes, everybody has a thing. But not everybody knows what your thing is. It's just your thing. Not the case for me.
That's fantastic.
Everybody knows my thing.
That's like when Pee Wee Herman got nailed the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
He went on MTV. Heard any good jokes
Any
lately?
good jokes lately? Yeah, it was. That's the way you have to attack those things. But I think Louis tried early on to attack it that way, but the society wasn't ready for it yet.
Right.
Mainstream America is not ready for it yet. This cancel culture is not ready to accept Louis back yet. So
And
he's
that's
doing
that's
it right.
a little bit of the problem. That's a like a job problem for the comics, because comics are quick and they get things quick, they get over things quick, they move on, they're on the next thing. And so when it's themselves and they're not allowed to get over something really quick, it must be more difficult.
Well, I think after Weinstein, after Epstein, I think you look at, and if you know the facts about Louis C.K., I think plus not to mention, of course, the quarantine, I think people would. He's okay.
Yeah,
Just,
we don't care.
let
he
him
has
back.
permission.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
he abused his power because, like, if you're a high,
Yes.
like if you're the CEO of a company, and then you're talking to a low-level, secretary, and you're like, "You mind if I jerk off in front of you?" And then they're gonna be like, "What?
How do you not laugh? Like, I would just be like,
Most of them did laugh at first. They thought he was
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
they laugh, and then they close their eyes. Then they open their eyes. They sit there. No, I'm very serious. I didn't say yes yet. Yes, you did. I heard you.
And how many times have people said that to you, that they wanted to jerk off in front of you?
I've only heard it a handful of times.
A handful? Get it?
I would love to say I did that on purpose. I meant to do that.
And I'm not asking Sallie that question because, I probably asked her like 3 times today alone. So.
I'm very secretive about that stuff. Like I could never do it in front of anyone. I just feel it's a sacred time for me. I've never been caught. Never.
ever?
Never in my life have been caught that I know of. For all I know, somebody could have like
Well, where are you doing it that you're worried about getting caught?
the roof, the ceiling,
Here, governors.
right next to the chimney, just sitting there looking at the traffic.
The last time Bobby Collins was on the stage.
Yeah, just watching.
The funnier he
I
was,
love
the
how you
faster
get
you
your
go.
eyebrows into it.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Oh, it's so funny.
That's good.
yeah, that's weird. Like with him wanting to do that in front of people, I guess it gets him off to see them nervous and awkward. Who knows what it is? It
just wants
could
to
be
share.
some kind of control thing. I don't know. It's very strange.
It is strange.
But
yeah.
and
Maybe
I wonder,
he would want people to ask him, so he's just being nice.
Yeah, you never ask me if I want to watch you.
How come it's always me asking you?
But I wonder how many he's done since that. Like, did he just give up? I mean, if it's your
did it
your
like
sickness.
scar him for life? For,
Yeah.
like you can never jerk off again because he just hears like.
If
he
that's-
just sees, newspaper headlines, and it ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, just like a small.
Yeah.
No, but if that's your thing, if you're like if everyone has like he said, everybody has their thing. If that's your thing, can you just stop because you got in trouble, or are you going to call
One would
somebody
hope
like
so.
like go on Craigslist and bring in like, I'm paying you so you could watch me, right? He must still have the urge to masturbate in front of women. He has to.
Unless he went for psychiatric help.
Yeah, and could he? I mean,
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I mean, imagine never being able to masturbate again. Well, he's rich and famous. I'd be ordering a girl every day.
That's what I'm saying. He must go on Craigslist
Yeah.
and just have these girls come in and he just lines them up and just masturbates in front of them like crazy and just does the thing.
Put the phone away.
Andrew Schultz has a funny bit about masturbating. He goes, we don't need to be loud when we have sex. He's like, women always want you to be loud and make noises and stuff like that. He goes, when I masturbate, man, I'm like a stealth. He's just like, I'm like this. He's like, I'm all alone. Just
But how do you know? Like,
What
does
do
he
you
look
mean,
in
how
a,
do you know?
Does he look in a mirror to see what face he's making? Like, I've never even thought about
No,
that.
he's
Like,
saying how quiet.
yeah, he
well,
just,
yeah, but how does he? Maybe he's making all sorts of weird faces. Like, I've never thought about that.
Huh.
Like, I wonder, if my sitting there. Like, what am I doing?
That was another great Louis C.K. joke, though. He's like, I can't believe my wife wants to have sex with me. I've seen me naked. He's like, look at me. He's like, I feel so sorry for her. I gotta lay my big sweaty body right on top of hers.
Oh, I love that bit when he does that.
Yeah, it's so
He's like,
great.
and I'm just dripping on her, and I'm it's just falling off my face onto
Right
her
on her,
face, and she's trying to squint to not get the drips in her eyes.
He's like, God bless that woman.
That's great. Oh, the alarm's going off.
Oh, there we go.
Alarm.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I have so many alarms.
Let's see. He masturbates on Zoom now, according to Elizabeth Batterby. Has he ever asked you if you could watch him on Zoom?
At least he's polite about it.
And maybe he's a nut job, says Joey Stas. Oh, man. A few friends lost their job when Louis C.K. got canceled. I remember one saying, Louis jerks off, and we all got fucked. Very nice. That's Gina. Very nice. Louis C.K. Still one of the GOATs. Still one of the greats. One of the best ever to do it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets back up on top. No
And that's the thing. Like his legacy is scarred now. Whether he rebounds or not, he's always going to be known as a great comedian. He's going to be kind of like Bill Cosby-esque, right? But Bill Cosby is truly a
different
disgraced piece, POS. But Louis will always be kind of like Bill Clinton, like, oh yeah, that's the guy that got blown in by his intern. So he'll always be, it's the guy that likes to jerk off in front of women.
Yeah.
And it taints his stand-up because he's such a brilliant, genius stand-up comedian on so many levels.
Right.
And he's did all the mediums, man. He wrote for shows, created shows, like sitcoms and talk shows, and
right.
Like he was a writer for Conan O'Brien. He I think he helped with the Chris Rock show on HBO. That talk show. That was kind of his jumping off point.
Right.
He wrote Pootie Tang. I think he directed it or wrote it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
I believe so. I might be wrong. Somebody fact check me. But yeah, I mean the guy's brilliant on every level, and I hope he makes a strong comeback. We will see.
Yep, absolutely.
But so you're gonna go? You think Rodia's gonna let you get a spot?
That's funny. That's funny.
What is he actually doing in there? Do you know? Does he have like someone else working with Rodia and Goomba?
It's just the two of them.
I didn't see anybody else. So I think it is just the two of them.
Really? Like it's not like a girl or something that they.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I didn't see anybody else around. He just finished. I hear the music, but and of course the place was lined up like crazy for the next show that starts at 9:30.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure it's just the two of them. I'm not positive, but yeah, I didn't see anybody else out there, and even for us, it was just me, Jackie, and Olga, and that's it. So yeah, it's not a lot of people here tonight. So
not a lot of comedians, but a lot of fans. So
yeah,
that's good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, which is a good thing. So yeah, there you go.
Comedy's back, baby.
Absolutely, come on down to any of the 3 great governors comedy clubs
Right here on Strong Island.
Are you guys been on for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It flies by. I gotta say, it's
does
like a
fly,
time
yeah.
machine in here.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And hey, we gotta.
Harry rubbed his nose 789 times.
Rubbed his nose?
Yeah, I think his mask
He had some
like
kind of
had
irritation.
like. Yeah, like I think he's allergic to his mask or something. He was going crazy.
Maybe he
he
can
even said a
surgically
couple of
remove his
times.
nose.
He's like it's very itchy under here.
He's a surgeon. He should be able to fix that somehow.
Yeah.
Like a surgeon. He also had a few masturbation jokes, actually. He said he loves to masturbate to Madonna.
Now?
He's keeping it relevant.
No, we were very specific that it was.
Yeah,
back in the
Madonna
day.
now, she's...
No, it's like Cher now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's worse, would you say? They're both bordering that Joan Rivers,
Yeah.
I think Madonna was much hotter back in the day than
man.
Cher.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back in the day.
And you know who's looking bad, too? Because I'm looking at all the trailers. They got this Friends reunion coming up this week. So Courtney Cox, man.
Yeah, she's...
Oh, my God. What a shame.
It's tough when you're a hot woman your whole life. Like, think about it. They start getting hot and like getting men's eye and like just keeping it real. Like 17 years old,
sure,
right?
yeah.
So if you're attractive from 17 all the way into your like 60s, and then you start to lose it because you're getting old. That's hard to like. No one's looking at me anymore.
Yeah,
and
but
then you start to maneuver your face.
But
and
you
get
look
stretched.
worse.
Yeah, and then you look like plastic face.
They always think they'll look better.
And
it
in this
never
case,
happens.
she just. I mean, not that I follow her closely, but from what I saw on TV, she wasn't looking that bad that she needed to do all that.
I don't know why they do that.
And then you look at what's her name, who's aged really well.
Aniston?
No, the other one.
Aniston, but no,
Yeah,
I'm not.
she's good.
Well, Cujo I think looks good too, but I'm not. I wasn't going with Friends. Oh my God, The Godfather, Pacino's wife,
Oh, Diane Lane?
Diane
No,
Keaton.
Keaton.
Diane
Keaton, yeah.
She's in her 70s. She looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And-
She's always had really good bone structure, though.
You know who aged really well? I can't remember her name, but she's on. I guess saw her recently on Facebook. She was remember the show Too Close for Comfort? Remember with Ted
Ted Knight.
Ted Knight. Remember his daughter, the blonde?
Yes, she aged well. I haven't seen her in ages.
She's like 67 years old, and she's still like smoking hot.
Is she really that old?
Yeah, like I looked at her.
Holy
'Cause I saw
moly.
her thing on YouTube or Facebook or something, and I'm like, wow, man, I haven't seen her in years since
Yeah.
Too Close for Comfort. And I always
Right.
like had a thing for her as a
Yeah, she
kid,
was
you know.
hot.
And she was like,
They were both hot.
Yeah, both the sisters.
Yeah.
But the blonde one was like the one, right?
And
then
Jim J. Bullock, he was.
Hi, I'm fabulous. Jim
Monroe.
J. Bullock, I'm in the center square. Yeah. But this girl, I forget her name, but so then I saw her and I was like, wow, she's got to be. I was like, she's got to be at least in her 50s, right? Because I remember her when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And she must have been like a teenager. Anyhow, she's like 65 years old or something, and still like incredibly good looking. Yeah.
And what do you think? Surgeries or no?
No, it looks
Yeah?
natural.
Nice.
She just aged like her hair. She looks exactly like the same. It was nuts.
Wow.
And she has a show, like her own podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
We should try and get her on there.
I
It would help if you remember her name.
I gotta send her. Yeah, I gotta send her a thing because
Yeah, they'll watch this. They'll be like, you couldn't even remember my name.
And then I'm gonna ask her if I could masturbate in front of her and see what she says.
And she'll say, "Whoa, that's too close for comfort." That wasn't even worth the fist pump.
Good times. Good times. That's a whole nother show. I used to love Thelma. I did actually.
Yeah, I did too. She was
Yeah.
hot.
Thelma was my first African American crush.
Really? Not like Janet Jackson?
Well, she was a little kid on that show.
Yeah,
So if
she
you
was the
remember
same age as us.
Thelma, yeah, because she was on Good Times also. Remember?
Oh, really?
She got hit with the iron. She was abused.
That's right. Yep.
And then the mother came out, I'm going to get you with the iron, and burned her. I was like, holy shit. I was like a little kid watching that show going, show me Thelma again. I want to see that ass.
I want to iron that ass.
What you doing? I'm like, I got jungle fever. I got jungle fever.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great.
Good times.
All right.
All right, we're out of here.
All right, people.
Bye.
Peace out.
Everybody have a great weekend. Sally and I will see you Monday morning, and Don will see you Tuesday morning.
Top fives, baby.
Nice. I
We
love
got-
that.
This
top
one
five.
is Frank Liotti.
Oh, nice. I'm
Top
looking
five-
forward to
top
that.
5 gay comedians.
That's
It's really
fantastic.
good one. It's a really good episode.
They're all good.
Frank
They really
rocks. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Frank rocks, and this is a really good one.
And we have on Thursday, we have Jessica Curson joining us on the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show.
Very cool. And Jessica Curson and Frank Liotti are like besties.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's good
so,
to know.
So bring that up to her, too. They're
I
like
shall.
really super close